So I will introduce Danielle Rizal, and she's the general manager, and she's going to give a report.
Thank you, Commissioner Scrofano. It has indeed been a year, just about, I think on March 15th is when we will hit the 1-year anniversary of Mayor Garcetti's Safer at Home order. And I think as somebody has said most recently, the before times, right, before the pandemic. So what we are experiencing in every level of our operations, and as we have seen with, just the incredible, valiant, and remarkable commitment by the staff of the Department of Cultural Affairs. And for those of you that are on the staff call today, I just want to reiterate the deep appreciation and gratitude that we have for everyone who continues to go above and beyond to fulfill the mission of the organization, of this agency, and the work that we do. And I want to thank the Commission. You are all volunteers as well. You are, managing your day-to-day lives in the middle of a global pandemic. And to all of our presenters who are on the call, I know that it's a challenging time, and I just hope that everyone, I hope everyone is safe, and I hope your families are okay. Over the past 6 years, we've really made some great strides in restoring baseline staffing and kind of building back the department. And it's really hard to have some of that washed away. As many of you know, we've had about nine really senior level veteran staffers leave for early retirement. And then we've had a few other folks that have left the department. One of whom is Stephen Wong, our curator over at the Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery. He is the new director of the Vincent Price Museum, which is fantastic and a great opportunity for him. And then we also recently lost our public information director to Rhonda Mitchell, who's a great asset, first with public art and then with marketing communications, to Council District 8. So we know that she will continue to do really great work on behalf of the people of the city with Marquise Harris Dawson. But all in all, we have about 28 vacancies for our mighty organization, and we are fighting through the budget process to retain every last position authority, because we know that as we move in, from crisis to chronic to recovery, we're going to need to have all hands on deck to help our city recover and heal and accelerate our regional recovery. A few little stats that I just want to highlight, but as we look past from last year, we've served over 4 million residents, including more than 2.8 individuals through our grant-funded projects. We have over 395, so close to 400,000 social media followers and website users. We involve over 320 community arts participants served through our community arts centers, who with incredibly resiliency and rudimentary technology are continuing to provide services, via live streaming, Google Classroom, Facebook, and Google Meets and Zoom. So it's pretty extraordinary. And I just think that, let me also just give a big plug for performing arts and our public art programming, which combined is another 300,000. So we know that the work that we're doing is really serving the people of Los Angeles, and we're incredibly proud of that. Given the work that we've done over the past year with our emergency response programs, with public art, with our reallocation of the Arts Activation Fund for COVID relief for independent artists, to the Art of Wellness, which is a fantastic partnership that we have with LA Commons. I think I presented on this, but the most recent piece of this program, which is so exciting, is that we've worked a partnership with JC Ducot. And so we have many of the images and collateral material for the Art of Well-Being. And Scott, if you want to give me access, I can see if I can quickly pull up, but we've got bus shelters throughout the city with these images. So it's really, really exciting. I think all in all, we have about 220 bus shelters, and we're working with a few more partners in community to expand the artwork that is created from that program. So, so more soon on that. A few other kind of big things. We've named a new Poet Laureate. So the mayor announced Lynn Thompson as our new Poet Laureate. She's a LA original and does a lot of work around memory, what we keep, what we leave behind. So we're really excited. She's also a previous COLA fellow, so we're really excited for her. And the Barnsdall Junior Art Center has been recognized many of our students in the National Scholastic Art Regionals. So we're really excited. I'm sorry, did I miss something?
She's gonna start getting like ready. Otherwise, she's gonna start and she's gonna be very good.
Okay, hold on. And then finally, let me just say that we just got a contribution of $25,000 from Sony for our next Big Read program. That this year's selection is The Best We Could Do by Tai Bui, who's it's a graphic novel that has really received an enthusiastic response when presented by teachers and students. So that's exciting. And then finally, we've teamed up with Wolf Brown to do a cultural services survey. I'll make sure that you each get a link to that. But this is a really important survey that will help us learn from community of what they need in terms of cultural services at the community level. So that is it for my general manager's report. Are there any questions?
What's the book again? For your big read?
The Best We Can Do by, excuse me, The Best We Could Do by Tai Bui.
Yes, this is Andrew. It's a graphic novel about a story of immigration, but it's very relatable and apropos for the moment. And the national
Andrew, we cannot hear you.
I'm sorry, there's a plumbing going on. I'm sorry, it's difficult to hear.
Okay. I can tell you that the book is a personal story with universal themes around family connection, the importance of identity, and the meaning of home. So we're excited. It's also, I'm kind of excited because we also have the Sony Digital Media Arts program where many of the students will use the book as a reference point for their animation projects. So it's
also the first graphic novel programmed through the NEA. So that opens up a world of programming educational options as well.
Great. Thank you, Andrew.
And it looks like we could purchase this book on Amazon. Is that correct, Danielle?
We'll get
You
you
absolutely
copies.
can, but we're happy to get you copies.
Okay.
It's a great, that this particular book had been chosen. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but in light of the horrific things that have been happening with regards to COVID and the Asian American community of all backgrounds, it's good that this is coming from this particular author at this time, because we just need more connections with, given the terrible racist things that have happened with regards to COVID.
Thank you so much. And the Big Read program has a group of pretty dedicated partners that really do the book selection. We support it. And I think they always really have the finger on the pulse of what's happening deep within community. So that's it for me. I'm mindful that we have another presentation. So if there are no further questions, I'll pass it back to you.
So the next presentation, Commissioner Jefferson, is this the presentation that you were?
I do, but I want to make sure that we're actually in quorum. Otherwise, it's not part of the official record, and we're not yet.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what to tell us to do at this point.
Danielle, can you tell me what the next presentation was? I don't know.
So that's it for presentation. I think we are just waiting for our fourth member of the commission in order to have quorum, but I would like to have Lori, since I see her on the line, confirm that we do have a meeting that is currently being recorded. It is part of the official record. And I just want to verify that it is. Is that correct, Lori?
Now it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should be.
So we're in public record. We just can't take action. Is that correct?
You can't take action because you don't have a quorum.
But we are in a public meeting.
I think so.
Official record. No, I just
Yep.
I'm
Well,
asking.
I mean, for the Brown Act, not yet, because don't have a quorum. I don't know if it's being recorded. I mean, well, it's being recorded, right? I believe it's being recorded.
It's being recorded and also live streamed on YouTube right now.
Okay, well, there
it
you
is
go.
accessible to the public.
Yeah. So, and so I just want to say that at the next meeting, I'll make a presentation. Danielle and I decided just for the, just for time considerations that I would make my presentation in connection with the Brown Act and conflict of interest and CPRA requests next meeting. But I'll just take this opportunity to ask you to please read the materials that you were sent by my office, that was sent by our ethics expert, all of those materials, and just have questions for me next time. Next time, what I'll do is once we have a quorum, I will make a very quick presentation on items that, based upon my experience, can cause problems and lawsuits and the city having to pay attorney's fees. And, and also on items that, it's easy for commissioners to fall victim to unknowingly, innocently, things to avoid. So, but we need a quorum for that. And actually, because I'll be giving advice, that part of the meeting would be closed session.
Okay. Thank you. So with that in mind, I think we can go to our presentation. And if I am not mistaken, I think that Tammy Ottabridge is also on this call.
Well, now, but we may have which presentation? Oh, this is the,
we're gonna,
gotcha. Okay, fine.
I'm doing what our vice president has said, and I'm gonna go straight into it now.
Okay, good.
Looking at my clock at 1:59 p.m. I believe that Tammy Ottabridge may be on this call with us. So if so, I want to acknowledge her. One of the things that we wanted to do was just stop for a second. COVID has kept us all away from each other, and sometimes we don't get a chance to pay tribute to so many people who have done so many things in our arts community. And there are a lot and many to be grateful for, but one of them includes one of BCA's own, as well as our city's own, and that was John Ottabridge, who passed away in November of last year. And while he had a great life and was with us for 87 years, what's so extraordinarily important about him is that he was both the co-founder of the Communicative Arts Academy in Compton, which was an extraordinary place that worked to try to teach the arts to children all over. But when he left there he started it in 1969, and when he left it in 1975, he went on to become the executive director of the Watts Tower Art Center that Nora Purfoy had helped to keep, and he was there for 17 years. So he was there even before the towers became a part of cultural affairs, and was really an icon in making it possible for those towers to still be standing and be a part of what LACMA now finally considers art, which they didn't do for many, many years. Across many generations. I consider John a friend, both to me, but also to my uncle, John Riddle, who was an artist who had preceded him. They were very close and had worked together in the many years. And in 2012, during the Pacific Standard Time, he was honored in our show at the California African American Museum, but equally, he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012, along with Sidney Poitier. So there's this wonderful picture of the two of them together that I truly do adore. And so with that, we were fortunate enough that Channel 7 actually did a small spot on John Ottabridge, recognizing him. And Tammy, is that you I see? I think I see you.
I'm here. I'm here.
Hi, and they did a wonderful spot. You'll see Tammy in it. It's well worth giving you a chance to just get to know John Ottabridge, and it pays great respect as well to the Watts Tower. So Scott, if you can turn that on for me. It's not long, everybody, but I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, coming up.
Last November, the world lost local artist and activist John Ottabridge.
I can hear it, but I can't see it.
Out of what others generally discarded, his work laid a strong foundation for the Watts Towers Arts Center and for young
Sorry for the
artists in
technical
LA
difficulties.
and
I'll
beyond.
restart it.
Eyewitness News
We may have to start it again.
for this Black.
And while we're waiting, for those of you who are interested in art, the background is the ceiling of the Brooklyn Museum. Ta-da! In one of their rotundas.
It's a beautiful image, Charmaine.
I just took you inside of a museum.
Yes, can't wait.
Charmaine, I just wanted to say how happy I am that you brought this incredible Los Angeles artist into memoriam here in our space together. The history of John Ottabridge and his peers really demonstrated concepts and practices like social practice art before academic acknowledgement, considerations, co-optation happened. They were doing this in community. They were, John Ottabridge was leading this idea that, you know, how we model creativity as an artist and individual in community so that others especially Black and Brown communities, could see that this was possible, that this had tremendous weight as it related to self-worth, transcendence of everyday realities, but also the incredible innovation that he led, not just through his personal art, but the work that he did in community with both youth and adults. So I've been a huge John Ottabridge fan, not just because I love assemblage, but because he was such a leader in paving the way for what we now call social practice. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I would agree with you and just mark that.
Last November, the world lost local artist and activist John Ottabridge. Ottabridge was celebrated for creating art out of what others generally discarded. His work laid a strong foundation for the Watts Towers Art Center and for young artists in LA and beyond. Eyewitness News reporter Rachel Brown spoke to his daughter for this Black History Month story.
Nicknamed the Griot, renowned artist and activist John Ottabridge told powerful stories through art. A lifetime of exhibits seen across the country, from New York City's Tilton Gallery to the California African American Museum, where he was honored in 2011 alongside actor Sidney Poitier.
He's an icon of Black history.
His works of art known to highlight social and political issues of the times and encourage ongoing dialogue to challenge them. Ottabridge's own story began in North Carolina back in 1933.
He grew up in a very creative, beautiful environment that some would have said was a junkyard.
He grew up watching his father repurpose old machine parts to sell and trade, later dedicating a piece of artwork to each of his parents. It was those early years when his love for mixed media blossomed. Ottabridge moved to LA in the early 1960s and quickly found a community of Black artists. He would become a pillar of the assemblage arts movement, using found objects passed off materials others viewed as junk to make masterpieces.
He describes the time period of the 60s as being a time when he learned that art was not just for his self-expression, but that he could use it as a tool to begin to hold America accountable for what America said it wanted to be.
This is one of his most iconic pieces, In Search of a Missing Mule, a 7-foot-tall steel sculpture that calls out America's broken promises made to emancipated slaves. From 1975 to 1992, Ottabridge served as the director of Watts Towers Art Center. He was also passionate about exposing children to art and worked to increase art funding in schools. Ottabridge believed through art and education, real change could be achieved.
But the Watts Towers Art Center is always, Black History Month is always going on with us, because that's what's important. And we have creme de la creme artists associated with our institution. We can almost have anybody we want over there exhibiting because of the foundation that John Ottabridge laid.
Rachel Brown, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And with that, I will not keep us on long, except to say, Tammy, I'm not sure where you are because my little boxes of people are all over the place. But thank you for sharing your father with us. And please know that for this meeting, we open it and we close it in the honor of John Ottabridge.
Thank you, Charmaine. That was great. Have we heard from Commissioner Vinson? Is he on yet? Well, hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. Are there any other non-agenda action items that
I think we should take a 5-minute break and
let's go ahead and see if we can get Commissioner Vincent on the phone and see what the ETA is, given our action-packed agenda. I want to just say, if Tammy is here, on behalf of the Department of Cultural Affairs, I want to just thank you for giving us your dad and for your father's lasting legacy on Los Angeles, on the South LA and Watts community, and the contemporary art world that he created, that eventually they caught up with and got their message. So I just want to thank you for giving us your dad and having him. It's hard to work for the city. It's really thankless. And as a daughter of a public servant, you gave him to us for his community. And I want to thank you for that. His legacy will continue to be honored and celebrated and cherished. So thank you, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank you for this beautiful honor that you've given to him 2 days before what would have been his 88th birthday on March 12th. And so thank you for this recognition and all the love that I feel coming from all of you. And thank you, Charmaine, for those beautiful words.
Hey, in my prior life, when I could lift my leg above my head as a dancer, I danced at the Communicative Arts Academy. So he gave me that stage to dance on. Lula Washington was on that stage.
Yeah.
And one day I found a picture just popped up out of nowhere while I was researching the Communicative Arts Academy that popped up, and there was my rear end. On one end, hers on the other. So I must tell you that your father gave me a place to dance when I was young. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you all. Thank you all. So I accept this honor for my dad. Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, so maybe now we should just take a 5-minute break. Let's see if we can get Commissioner Vinson in the room so we can hit the rest of the agenda items.
Yes, so we'll reconvene in 5 minutes. It's at 12:17.
Find everybody.
Yeah. Thank you all for being patient. So you're saying that we're going to bring up the public art projects or art activation?
Art activation, Corona Memorials.
Okay, so the next item is art activation. And then who will be, I'm trying to find it through the agenda page here. What item is it now? Hang on, art activation.
Look above staff reports or in staff
so
reports.
Okay, so it's at the end. Okay.
You can just read what's there and introduce the project, and we'll have our presenters.
So our next item is Arts Activation Fund Corona Memorial Grants Program for the first round of recipients.
And the staff presenter is?
And the staff presenter is, doesn't have a name.
Oh, okay, great. I think it's Rafael Vaca.
Let me know if I can help at all, Daniel.
Do we have Raphael on? Try to see view. Andrew, do you see Raphael on the?
I'm looking.
See.
No, I do not. Let me give him an email. I don't know whether he was notified. Let me look into this.
I just chatted both of them. So.
They probably thought they were coming on later.
Yeah, let me try to reach them. Raphael. Raphael. I don't know why. I'm going to forward this. I sent an email. I don't know. Situation.
All right, well, we're just going to burn time because we can't move forward with the agenda without quorum. We are missing a commissioner and we have a hard stop at 5 o'clock. So we are going to, I say, let's take another little recess and we will reconvene when we have quorum. Thank you everyone for your patience and your time. We are muddling through this. Thank you.
Hello, we're back. Commissioner Vincent has joined us via phone, so I think we can proceed with the meeting.
That's correct. We do have quorum. We finally have quorum. So we can actually take the action items on the agenda while we have quorum. So that means that for our Corona memorials, we are going to go ahead and run with the action items on the agenda and hold Corona pending our availability of time.
Okay, perfect. So we'll start with agenda item number 1, neighborhood council representative. Are there any neighborhood council representatives?
If they need to, yeah.
I'm taking that as a no, or, okay. So there are no neighborhood council representatives. So the next item is public comment on non-agenda items germane to the business of the commission. Are there any public comment cards? Nope.
Sorry, Commissioner, I forgot to mention those who are joining in audio. If you're joining through audio, press *9 to raise your hand and you will be addressed, and *6 to mute and unmute.
Okay,
and with that, there are no public comments.
Great. Okay, so the next item is approval of the minutes. I think those have been approved. Am I correct? Do I need to call a roll call vote for that, or?
So moved.
Yes, it is a item that needs to have a full vote.
Okay, perfect.
I'm sorry, excuse me. This is for the which month's minutes? Because that's what I thought we were moving to April, to the April
The
meeting.
February minutes, sorry, the February minutes, meeting minutes will be ready for the April meeting. That was
Correct.
told by
Okay.
Rebecca.
Okay, super. So that will be tabled till the next meeting. So the next item is architectural submissions, and thank you all for being here. We're very short on time today and we have a lot of agenda items. So I'm going to ask the presenters if they can kind of keep to a 5-minute presentation, and then also the commissioners if we could be relatively brief on the comments. So I'm going to introduce the first item. It's Streets LA, the Maya Corridor project in Westlake. The location is along 6th Street from Parkview to Loma Drive. The Streets LA architect is Anna, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Tabuena Rudy. The
It's Anna
valuation.
Tabuena Ruddy, and it's Nina Fino Wong, my staff, that will be presenting.
Oh, great. Thank you, Nina, for clarifying. Okay, so the project evaluation is 6.5 million, and this is for both conceptual and final. So thank you, Nina.
Thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Nina Pinawong. I'm a landscape architectural associate at Streets LA. I'm joined with Marco Pacheco, who is a cultural consultant with Casa de la Cultura Maya, a nonprofit based in LA. And we didn't know we only had 5 minutes, so I'm gonna fly as quickly as possible. We're proposing streetscape improvements along 6th Street, which runs adjacent to MacArthur Park, as you see here. Major elements that I'll be covering is the gateway monuments, the decorative intersection crosswalks, and some bus stop lighting, street trees, and wayfinding signage. In yellow, you'll see that we have adjacent coordination projects in the area as well. Here are some street photos of the existing photos. And I'm just gonna pause for a second and let the Public Works Commissioner speak. 1 second. Go ahead, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Nina. Good afternoon, fellow commissioners. It's an honor to be here with you today. I had a whole script going on, but since we're cut off for 5 minutes, I'm gonna make it very quick. We also have Luis Gonzalez from Council District 1, which I'll pass it over to him again. So thank you it is a true privilege to be here with all of you to present our Maya Corridor project. This has been a very collaborative effort between Council District 1 and our departments, multiple departments in Public Works, Bureau of Streets LA, Bureau of Street Lighting, our Office of Forestry, Bureau of Sanitation. And as we go, we're gonna incorporate more of our Public Works department. I'm just gonna I'm gonna pass it over to Luis so he can talk about a little bit about the origin of why this came about, and then we'll pass it over to the renderings, let you guys see the beautiful designs that our Streets LA have worked on for the past. We've had this project on our table for almost 2.5, 3 years now, and this is like in a very exciting time that we actually get to present it publicly. So, Luis, do you want to chime in?
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, commissioners. This is Luis Gonzalez. I'm the Deputy Director for the Office of Councilmember Gil Cedillo. Thank you so much for making the time for our presentation. I'll be very brief. I just wanted to make sure that you know that this is a project that the council member really is prioritizing right now. He's very honored, to be able to do something like this with the Mayan community in Westlake, which represent a big area of the indigenous population that we have in our district. We are unifying many different immigrants in this project under the common denominator in this point, that is the Mayan. So I would like to thank Commissioner Garcia from Public Works, BSS, and the team and also Marco Pacheco, our consultant, for this beautiful project. I hope that you can see it and enjoy it, and hopefully, we can do a ribbon cutting soon. So thank you so much, and thank you for everybody that is involved.
Thank you, Luis. And commissioners, I don't know if I introduced myself, but I'm Aura Garcia, Vice President of the Board of Public Works. Sorry, kind of going a little loopy here. So I'll pass it on now to Nina and our Streets LA team that has renderings for you, and we'll take on any questions or concerns towards the end of our presentation. Thank you once again, commissioners. It's an honor to be here. Thanks,
Commissioner Garcia, for that intro. And sorry, this is all over the place. Again, this is 6th Street. I'm sure though everyone is familiar with the area. There's a lot of street vending, high pedestrian traffic. And we're working closely with Marco, who's also on this call. He is a Maya cultural consultant, as Commissioner Garcia introduced. We worked closely with him to integrate some of the motifs and glyphs you see here. And one of the main elements that we're proposing are 2 gateways at Loma Drive and Parkview Street. This is the front of the gateway. Here are several of the elements that Marco can speak to really quickly.
Yeah, well, perhaps one of the most important contributions of the Maya ancestral knowledge is the Maya calendars. As part of the design and on the corners of the gateway monuments, we're proposing to have 20 glyphs in a circle pattern as part of the design that represent the days of the Maya calendar, with the year bearer in the center and the 4 directions. We also incorporated glyphs. The Maya glyphs that you see on the front and back of the monument are written in using Quiche language. The entrance of the monument will have glyphs that say Mayip Tinamit, which means Maya corridor or Maya town. The exit view of the monument will have glyphs that say In Hebeat Hebein, which means I am you, you are me, which is also a phrase that is commonly known to depict the unity. As part of the Maya calendar theme, each year there is a year bearer. There are 4 year bearers in the solar Maya calendar that are part of the design for the pillars, which encircle each entire pillar. In case you're wondering, and to provide you some context or some analogy, the year bearer is almost like the year bearer of the Chinese moon calendar, i.e. the year of the dragon. We also wanted to mention that we validated the concepts, motifs, symbols, images, etc. We engaged the community and formed a community advisory board that provided us the input and recommendations about adding certain symbols, color schemes, images that are relevant to modern community symbolism. The community advisory board is a diverse group of Maya community leaders in the city of Los Angeles. They're part of the different Maya nations that live and thrive in the city, such nations as Mopan, Chortí, Itzae, Cachiquel, Quiche, Canjoval, and Pipil. The nations, again, that I mentioned, these are nations that live and thrive in Los Angeles. It is also important to mention that I personally reach out to other members of the Maya nations across the border, and also Maya experts to discuss the renderings.
Another component of our gateway is that it changes colors to kind of integrate vibrant traditional Maya colors at night. Here are some renderings of this gateway here entering from the western side. So to orient you all, this is MacArthur Park. This is 6th Street. This is from the west side going east through the corridor. So the gateway would be here. Here you'll see some of the street trees we're proposing, which is the pink trumpet tree. A hint of the intersection design we'll be sharing in the later slides. The Mexican Consulate, and again, MacArthur Park. This would be the gateway on the opposite side, so exiting the corridor at night. And this is how it would look as it changes its lights. This would be the second gateway, so entering from the eastern side. So this is what we call the front of the gateway as you enter to notify that you are coming into the Maya corridor. Again, you'll see some wayfinding signage, which we will follow up on in the later slides. We try to make sure that all of our color schemes are consistent with traditional Maya colors. All the painted elements will have anti-graffiti elements, and we will be using paint that typically lasts 15 to 20 years. we're looking at the Chinatown gateway and some of the paint specifications for that gateway. Additionally, another major element of the corridor are these custom intersection designs, which you saw in the first perspective. Each corresponds with a major Maya country and corresponds with a glyph that is significant to that country. And we're proposing them at Parkview, Alvarado, Westlake, Bonnie Bray, and Burlington. And Marco will go quickly on the significance of each symbol.
Yeah, as mentioned before, as part of the Maya corridor design, we are designing specific intersections as Maya squares. Each selected intersection will have a specific design mirroring significant Maya locations and motifs. The selected cities that were chosen are Chichen Itza, Mexico, Tikal, Guatemala, Copan, Honduras, Tazumal, El Salvador, and El Caracol, Belize. For some of the cities, we use the specific glyphs that depict the city. There are 3 cities that have very specific glyphs, such as Tikal, Copan, and Caracol. And for the cities of Chichen Itza and Tazumal, there are no specific glyphs. So for those, we ended up adding some symbols relevant to the cities. For instance, Chichen Itza, we added a feather serpent that is relevant and symbolic to the main pyramid Kukulkan. And for Tazumal, we chose the design for the main pyramid temple.
And
sorry we're rushing through this, but
yeah, for the roadway design.
Just to clarify, we're suggesting to 5 minutes, but if you need more time,
yeah,
don't feel like you have to super rush, but.
And in terms of the design, you'll see that on some of the designs, we kept these cat tracks. We've been coordinating with LADOT, and it's important to maintain these tracks for traffic safety reasons, especially since 6th Street is a high injury network. So you'll notice at Parkview, at Bonnie Brae, Burlington, we maintain those cat tracks along the intersection. Additionally, the color selection that we chose correspond with the Maya palette that Marco had provided. And it's kind of limited because we are limited to a thermoplastic application, which is great because thermoplastic typically lasts 6 to 8 years longer than normal just paving. Additionally, we're proposing wayfinding signage, which corresponds with the major elements of our corridor. You'll see here, Marco had mentioned those year bearers, which will be on the edges of the gateway. So at Parkview and at Loma Drive, additionally at the catty corners of each intersection. And you'll see here's a feathered serpent, the symbol for Tikal, Caracol, Tazumal. And the idea is that these would be cutouts out of metal sheets, and during the day, these glyphs would be casted on the sidewalk. And this is kind of a view that you would see on each catty corner, in this case at 6th and Alvarado, entering into MacArthur Park, crossing over to that scramble. I'm sure everyone's familiar. This is a very busy scramble in LA. We've also been working with BSL to design a custom torch that would go along the corridor. Again, this is consistent with the gateway design, same painting application. Marco will speak to the symbolism that we've chosen for this design.
Yeah. So the image that you see there is the vision serpent. It's called the vision serpent, or it's commonly known as the vision serpent. This is an image that, in particular, this is an image from a sculpture made in casting limestone that was part of the wall plaque at the ancient city of Yaxchilán, Chiapas, Mexico, which is right on the border with Guatemala. This artwork represents the Maya vision of the serpent during a ceremony which symbolizes the passage and transfer of ancestral wisdom and knowledge. At the bottom of the pole, you see the pyramid, which is also a resemblance of Chichen Itza, the main temple in Chichen Itza called Kukulkan, or El Castillo, as is commonly known. And it's, as some of you may know, is one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Additionally, as mentioned in our first rendering, we're proposing street trees along the corridor. Right now, we're proposing 41 street trees, and the selected tree that we would like to propose is the pink trumpet tree, which is fun because its natural range actually coincides with Central America and the range of the traditional Maya countries. Additionally, it is very well suited to the LA region, as many have seen them blooming right now. You'll see all the blooms around the city right now. Additionally, we're proposing custom sidewalk patterns. So this would go throughout the corridor to signal that you are in the Maya corridor. Additionally, as mentioned, there are many adjacent projects around MacArthur Park. Right now, BOE is already proposing improvements at the corner of 7th and Alvarado. So in this area, in this corner, our project would run along 6th Street along this corner. So this would be pretty consistent with what we're proposing now. Additionally, there's a Great Streets project into Orient U again. Our project is generally in this direction. And we've been working closely with the team to suggest that we coordinate and incorporate the Maya design in this corner. Additionally, Streets LA is responsible for a project along 7th Street, which proposes several streetscape improvements, including street trees, medallions, bus shelters, and bus stop security lighting. And we would ensure that these would be consistent with the proposed Maya corridor. So I'm going to turn it back to the commissioner to provide some concluding remarks.
Thank you, Nina. Commissioners, you know, this has been a collaborative effort, like I said previously in the beginning of our presentation. But one of the reasons why you might ask me, why are we doing this? Why? Well, this area has the highest amount of Mayan descent residents outside of their country of origin. So it's a way for us to highlight, preserve, and embrace the culture that they bring to our community. And for some reason, you know, they have gravitated to this area. So it's only, you know, time for us to bring some acknowledgement to the vast amount of culture that they bring to this area. This will have multiple impacts, as you see, and we've really worked around the multiple impacts. We're going to improve the infrastructure of the area. It does need a little bit of an updated look for this community. And I'm saying community when means the infrastructure part of it as well. We're obviously going to beautify this area by bringing in the gateways, bringing in the pink trumpet trees. By the way, the pink trumpet trees were researched and picked because these are trees that are also part of the Mayan community, but are also trees that can be preserved and maintained here in the LA area. So the Mayan community has other trees that they're really well known for, but these are the ones, this pink trumpets were the ones that were built that were able to be part of the Mayan community, but we're able to have it here in the LA community as well. This will also bring an educational and historical information to the community, not only to the Mayan community, but to outside visitors. And we're hoping that in the future, once we've finished with the multitude of programs and projects that we have dedicated for this area, we can have visitors and tourists that can come and learn about the Mayan community here in the community of in the area in the city of Los Angeles. And lastly, we're working on having this area have an economic impact by bringing the visitors, by shopping, as we are going along, and also meeting with the consulates of the 5 countries that we want to highlight. And the 5 countries are Guatemala, Mexico, the southern part of Mexico, which is the Mayan community, Belize, Salvador, and Honduras. We're also asking for them to start thinking of how we can improve and bring different types of artifacts to sell that are culturally based. We love the way and I know everybody calls it different, but La Placita, which is right, close to our city hall, how, a lot of the the items and the artifacts that sell are really relevant to the country. And so we want to do the same as well in this community. And so there's multiple layers. As you also know, Council Member Gil Cedillo's new office is in that corridor as well. And so we'll be bringing more cultural, educational activities once we can do them, of course. So Marco and his organization, Casa Cultura Maya, is going to focus on the historical and educational aspect of this corridor. So it's going to work in multiple facets. It's not just, putting a gateway, which we love the gateway, and we're so happy that it came out this way, but it's also a way for outsiders and insiders to learn about their historical background, their Mayan culture, the rich culture that the Mayan community has. And so we want to make sure that's also part of what we're in a way calling a walking museum as you walk by the wayfindings. And so we've met with 2 out of the 5 consulates at this time. And what we've asked them is if they can come up with a historical information of their country that we will be placing in the wayfinding, so that it is sanctioned by their country, and it's not something that we are putting together, but it's something that comes from their origin of country, and that they're also part of this great project that we're bringing together. So I want to just say thank you to all of to you and for your time and attention, but also to Council District 1, who together we've built this project. This has been in the works for many years, and Luis probably has more information of how many years this has been a talk, but to get it to this point has been a really collaborative effort by all of us. So thank you for that. And unless I missed anything important that we had in our notes, Nina or Anna, please chime in, or Luis. But I just want to say that that for this Mayan corridor, it is going to be a true asset and value to the Mayan descent community that we have in the city.
Thank you, Aurora, and also Nina and Marco. I'm going to ask my fellow commissioners if they have any comments. Commissioner Jefferson, do you have?
I think it's a quick one, which is, I can't quite tell from our screen. So for every one of the designs, there is a monument or plaque that's nearby that it explains what it is. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes. So the 5 countries that are Mayan descent that we're highlighting is Guatemala, Mexico, Belize, and Salvador. Each of them, we've dedicated a street or a crossing, I don't know the proper word, the crossing symbol of them. And so every corner, not every, but the 5 corners will have a dedicated glyph symbolizing their country. And so, for instance, the one that you're seeing on your screen right now, this is the Mexico glyph, and I can let Marco describe what the glyph means, but it's actually right in front of the Mexican consulate. So it goes really nice with that area. And then the next big corner, the crosswalk will be Guatemala, which will represent Tikal. Tikal is a major part of Guatemala Mayan history. It's where our Mayan civilization lived for many years. And then, the following corner will be Honduras. And actually, if Luis, is this where Council Member Gil Cedillo's office would be?
That's correct. And basically, just to add on Commissioner Garcia's point is that so basically the idea is that we're gonna do squares. So every intersection we're gonna rename it after the Mayan city, and in that way, they're also gonna have information for anybody any pedestrian, they can see and they can read about the history, not only of the Mayan city, but also the Mayan community in Los Angeles.
Okay, thank you, Luis. So
I have one other question, is if I'm seeing it now, so this is going to go in the middle of the intersection with, I assume, are already all the plans for how often it has to be you know, touch up and all of that kind of stuff. That maintenance plan is already in place.
Yeah, that's correct. It's gonna be on each of the intersections. So when, people that are like passing by, they can see it.
This is intended to be permanent, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And from what I got from the architects, it's gonna have the anti-graffiti, like kind of material. So and this includes maintenance, right? It's not. We're also gonna include some maintenance in case that we need to clean it or even like replace it at some point. We're putting some funding aside just for maintenance.
I also want to add that part of what we're also going to do with Streets LA, it's, we love, the part of the decor part of it, but we're also going to repave the road so that, this gets a new look. We're also going to paint the sidewalks, clean them, paint the sidewalks, so that that with preservation and paint that lasts a very long time, so that we're going to clean up the street from the inside, so that when we put the decorative part of it, it comes at a clean foundation, which by the way, it was already on the list to do anyway. We're just now making sure that it happens, and then we have the second phase to it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Garcia. So Commissioner Guillardo, do you have any comments or questions?
I do, and I'm gonna try to make it quick because I have quite a few. First, I'm so excited about this project that brings such an important cultural and artistic legacy that was, that continues to be alive and very vibrant today. We often think of Indigenous communities in a historical sense, especially in Los Angeles, with all of our architectural wonders like the Hollyhock House, through the eyes and interpretation of others and not the Mayan people. So I'm very happy that this is going down. And I wanted to thank my fellow commissioner, Aura Garcia, for her role in this. That being said, some of the information that you provided, it sounds like it is still in development. And part of what we do as a commission is we need to see a final design with, as best as possible through this virtual platform, Sorry, I was just muted. So I'm feeling like this is still in process. And so I wanted to suggest to, in consideration at this meeting, that the vote be focused on the conceptual, and then when you are finalized and you've got everything laid out, then you come back to us for a final vote. The other things are, I just wanted to clarify, Nina, you mentioned in one of the earlier slides the Mexican consulate as part of the entryway to the corridor. Is that correct?
It's adjacent, so it's this building here.
Oh, okay, but it's not part of any of the designs. Okay, got it. And then I wanted to ask, Luis, you mentioned maintenance, and this is such, having lived in Koreatown and just the number of meetings we used to have to drive through this area. I know that it's very heavily trafficked. How are you all approaching determining what is an adequate budget for maintenance, not just for the asphalt elements, but also the towers and the bases? How are you approaching that so that it is committed for the life of this project? How are you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So basically, we estimate the maintenance funding based on the what elements we're looking at, right? I know that when the architect or when the contractor, is going to install the gateway, they're going to give us an estimate on the maintenance. The streets, we already have something from Streetscape, from BSL, who is another part of the important, vital part of this project. The Vero Street lining, also they have a maintenance budget. We also have DOE, giving us the maintenance budget. And finally, the trees, right? Like with Chief Forestry, give us a maintenance budget. So it just comes down to many different departments putting it in, how much it will cost for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We as an office, we cannot commit to 15, 20 years. But as long as we are in office, the council member has a commitment to maintain this. And we hope that the next council member will do the same in the following and for many, many years, because we hoping at the end, the main goal for this is that we also start bringing the businesses together and start developing the idea of a business improvement district that is so much necessary in this area. So that's also that we're working on hand in hand to get the businesses, to buy them into getting together and maintaining the streets and also helping with the cleanliness and some other elements that we're doing.
Thank you. So you're working cross departments. That was helpful to my question, because it is important as these beautiful symbols that are much more than just symbols. They are part of everyday life, are upkept and remained as vibrant and beautiful as they originally were. And then I'm just looking at my notes. Were there discussions, final question, were there discussions about the fact that this was originally Tongva land, right? And all of the beautiful diversity that our indigenous communities bring, were there discussions in how to also incorporate that history and connection to the land, in addition to where, the indigenous community is living and working today?
Yes, one of the beautiful things that happened through putting this project together is, and Marco can attest to this. He runs the advisory. We put together a Mayan advisory committee with very high level Mayan leaders, very impressive. And one of the things that they asked at the very beginning was that we needed to ask permission to the community you just mentioned, I don't say it right, community, the Native American community, because we are a Native community land. And technically the Mayan community would put a stake, or, would put a stake in their land. And so the Mayan leaders are going, or I don't know, I need to, maybe Marcos can tell us if this has happened already, but the idea is that we would ask the official indigenous way of asking permission to have a stake in this part of the world. And so, Marco, do you know if that has happened yet?
Well, just from my end, a couple of years ago during the Indigenous Day, I reached out to the elder from the Gravilinos, who spearheaded the opening ceremony for the Indigenous Day, and him and I had a discussion about this project. He was very excited about the project, especially highlighting traditional indigenous, a tradition of an indigenous group that lives in Los Angeles, or groups that live in Los Angeles. So I asked for his blessing then, and he, formally gave me his blessing, but I also asked him if he could be part of the initiation of this project when we break ground, and to just give it a blessing, because it's going to be not only him, but also all the other elders from the different communities that are mentioned in this project. All of them are going to come together, and that's my hope, that we all come together and we seek the blessing, so that this project not only is artistically beautiful, but also it becomes an educational museum, as Commissioner Garcia said, a walking museum for the children that live in that area.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, just to make a final recommendation as you move through the finalization of the design is to maybe consider incorporating that as part of the didactics or an element of one of the designs. Because I think it's an amazing project, and I think it would just be even more successful with that kind of inclusion. Those are my final comments. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. Commissioner Vincent, do you have any questions or comments? And if you could keep them brief, because we still have a lot of items. I guess not. Okay, so
Commissioner Scarfano, I know we're trying to hurry up, but I want to put a slightly distinct slant on this. One, I heard the issues about whether or not the project itself is complete enough in design for it to be looked at as final by us. That's one. Two, I don't know that I heard the part of the reading in advance about this project, etc., is that it's finding a way to celebrate groups of people who have come to live in Los Angeles, and that there is at some point similar ideas of doing similar kinds of things around the city. And so in that regard, because when I first read this, being a native of LA, I know who was living in what neighborhood, and I go, no. In the same way that what's referred to as Koreatown now was not Koreatown. Even Leimert Park was not Black at one point. In fact, they were excluded. And so one of the things that we can do as a city, as we're trying to put up artistic monuments to recognize, is to say that we become a city that if you walk all over the city, you'll find ways in which we are recognizing all the kinds of people who have come through this city, whether they live in that spot or not, because neighborhoods change. Koreatown was not Koreatown. There were other people who were living there. So in the same way that we're having a conversation about whether or not we recognize the Tongva people, which would totally wipe out everybody's conversation, is to say we have to make sure that we leave room to recognize all the people that may have passed through a particular spot, whether they did it with racist intent, whether they did it with monetary intent or whatever, so that if the Mayan community of Los Angeles decides to move to Olympic and Western, or I'm sorry, I should have said Olympic and La Cienega, there's nothing wrong that there's this tribute to the Mayan community where it is right now. If the Mexican consulate moves, it wouldn't matter, because our city is going to try and find ways to recognize people all over the place. If that is the case, then this notion of the Tongva people, as well as who came before you, somewhere along each one of these sites might be a plaque that starts to talk about the geography of who lived in that location up to the point that it got to be the Maya corridor or Leimert Park, Black cultural community and etc. And I've just lived here long enough, born and raised, and so was my mother, that I can tell you neighborhoods keep changing. I love the project and the spirit of what it's doing. I want to make sure that should neighborhood change or someone come along and say, well, what about me? That there's a bigger picture for Los Angeles, and it's about this thing that this project started, which is finding artistic ways to pay tribute to all the kinds of different people that live in Los Angeles. It's like we become like one gigantic UN. So that I just wanted to make that statement, and I love what the commissioner brought to the table, because it allowed me to try to figure out how to think through what was going through my head, separate from, oh, sure, that's an interesting piece of artwork. Okay, which is a different meaning, but I'm not sure we're fine. I'm not sure that I'm seeing that we're final yet. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And then Commissioner Vincent, do you have any questions?
Just to remind you, for those joined by audio, press *6 to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me? Okay. Now?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
I've been muted the whole time you've been calling on me. No, I have no question. I think it's a terrific project. I just wanted a little bit of clarity. Are we conceptually or
Well, maybe I should just take them up as two separate votes, City Attorney?
That's
Hello?
fine. You can do that.
Okay. So since we have to take roll call, so I am asking if there's a motion to approve conceptual for Street LA Maya Corridor project.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, perfect. So then I'll take a roll call. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yeah, Commissioner Vincent votes yes.
Okay, Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And I also vote yes, so motion is approved. So then I'll take a second request for Streets LA Maya Corridor project in Westlake for final approval. Commissioner Jefferson, how do you vote?
No.
Oh, no, I have to take a motion. Is there a motion to approve the final? Right, because we're taking them as two separate items.
Right. I was about to say no, I don't know we have a motion, so I don't have a motion for it to be final.
Is it possible to move, to put forth a motion that advises all the parties involved to go back, finalize the design and return to the commission at a future date? Can I so move that?
Yes, I think you can, right?
Yes, yes.
Great.
Okay, so then I'll take a vote to approve Streets LA Maya Corridor for final. Commissioner Jefferson, how do you vote?
I'm sorry, I heard two different things.
It's for the
Yeah,
final.
we've got two
approval.
motions on the floor.
Yeah,
So the motion right now is to ask them to go back and turn it into final and come back to us?
correct. That is the motion, so.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Gallardo, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
I also vote yes, so, so we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully next month. Thank you, so you have conceptual approval, but final will be contingent on the next presentation. So the next.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
So the next item is the Little Bangladesh neighborhood signs on light post. The organization is Bangladesh.
Yeah, got it. Do what you can do this.
Bangladesh Unity Federation of Los Angeles. The location is 3rd Street between New Hampshire and Alexandria Avenues. The engineer is Maneri Sign Company. The contact person is Mahabub. Yeah, sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name. Khan, the project evaluation is 6,000 and the approval requested is conceptual and final. So can you say your name correctly? Is it Mabib Khan? Who will be presenting this project?
I presented. Yeah, you can see.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Can you state your name for the record?
Yeah, Dr. Mahbub Khan, M-A-H-B-U-B, Mahbub Khan. Somehow it does not allow me to change my spelling of my name here.
Thank you. So if you can try to limit your presentation to 5 minutes, we would
Yes.
greatly appreciate
Yes,
that.
we'll do
Thank you.
Can someone please open this, or if you give me the slide share, I could show it from my place.
Go ahead, Dr. Khan, you have share capabilities now.
Somehow I cannot see it. Do you have it also? Can you please post it from your file?
Sure, give me a second.
Open the first file, please.
I love the global context of all of our projects, of so many
Yeah,
projects today.
exciting.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nope, sorry. Wrong folder. Okay.
Yeah, the first one.
We have 4 files here. DC import letter.
Little Bangladesh beautification file.
Oh, okay.
Not that one, the other one, I think. Yeah, PDF. PDF.
Oh, okay, the PDF. Sorry about that. Okay. Is this the file, sir?
We're not seeing the presentation. I think when you share via desktop, you have to stop share and reshare for the document to show up.
Okay. Is everybody able to see this now? Okay. So
Yeah.
we're on the first screen.
Yeah, okay. This is a sign that we are trying to install on the light posts. Several years ago, we applied for Little Bangladesh, which is part of the Koreatown actually, and the City Council of Los Angeles approved it. And then we have the signs on 3rd Street between Alexandria and New Hampshire. And we already have the signs installed as Little Bangladesh. This is the area where many of our Bangladeshi community people live. And that is where we hold our annual Bangladesh Independence Day parade. And in that parade, the mayor and then many of the city council members and other congresspersons, they attend as chief guest and parade marshal. So that is a very special area for our Bangladesh community, the 3rd Street between Alexandria and New Hampshire. And we already have this sign, Little Bangladesh, at the 2 ends. But in between, there are 5 streets, cross streets, where there are 5 and 5 on each side. There are 10 light posts where we want to put these signs to fill in the gap. And so that when we do the parade and with all the dignitaries and all of our people with colorful floats and banners and bands and many of the horses, we do this colorful parade. This is going to make these signs more beautiful as our parade route. So that is why we are requesting and we have applied for it. And then it has been reviewed by the Bureau of Street Lighting. And then the engineer have already seen the design of this and they have approved the design, and we have the vendor who will make it, and then we will have it installed. But then at the last minute, we were told that we need a permission from the DCA commission, the board. And so that is how we applied. And then I contacted, some of your people here who have been very helpful, and that is where we are. So our request is that please approve that we will be able to install these signs. It will cost about $6,000. And so we are requesting that we get permission to install these signs. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions and comments? Commissioner Vincent, do you have any questions?
Press *6 to unmute yourself.
Well, in the meantime, well.
Hello?
Yes.
No.
You have no questions. Perfect. Okay, how about Commissioner Jefferson?
I don't have a problem with the design. I'm a little surprised that someone suggested that this needed to come to us. I thought there was a standard for street signs around the city that are, that have a conforming manner. So at some point we should have a sidebar conversation, obviously on the record, but here at Cultural Affairs, because when they put up a sign that names it, XYZ Square, they have a sign, look for that. And I'm not used to, I don't remember ever seeing any of those come up. Whereas if you're trying to deviate from the standard signs, then it comes to us. So I'm fine with this. I think it's great to have the designation of the various communities so that people as they pass through it have it. But I am surprised that someone thought it needed to come to us, so.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Gallardo, any comments or questions?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Jefferson's observation and recommendation. And my question was just, I just wanted to confirm this is consistent with what currently exists yeah. So no questions other than that.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So motion approved. Thank you very much, Dr. Khan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
So now our next item is Resida Roller Rink and Ice Skating Facility. The location is 18210 Sherman Way in Reseda, California, 92399. The architect is Brooke Scarpa. The project designer is Larry Scarpa. The city project manager, David Wang. The valuation is for 18 million and they are requesting both conceptual and final approval. So I would assume, Mr. Scarpa, you're presenting, correct?
Commissioner Scarpino, I will do the introduction and I will then turn the presentation to Mrs. Scarpa.
Okay, super, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, commissioners. My name is David Wang. It's nice to see everybody again. I'm a project manager with Bureau Engineering Architecture Division. So I'm here today to present a project Receda facility, skating facility for the final review. So what I'd like to do first is pull up the site plan as I explain the project location and give you a brief project background. And then I will introduce the team members that I'm joined by today. And then they'll each give a little presentation of their own. So with that, I'd like to share my screen and can everybody see the site plan?
Yes.
Yes.
We can see.
Okay. Okay, great. So this project is located at 18210 Sherman Way in Reseda. The project site is bounded by 81 Avenue to the west and Linley Avenue to the east. The project consists of 2 lots. As I highlighted here, we have the front lot and the back lot. So the front lot is the open air roller skating area, and the back lot here is the ice skating facility. So the ice skating facility is a National Hockey League regulation size facility. It's designed for ice skating as well as the ice hockey. The project is a Proposition K specified project, and it utilizes the CRA funds and then other funding sources. There will be a financial contribution from the Anschutz Entertainment Group, also known as AEG, since they will be managing and operating the facility for the community. The project budget is very limited, and we have an aggressive schedule. We want to target the completion of the facility to be open in the summer of 2022. As a result, the design of the ice rink facility in collaboration with the design architect, AEG, and the city uses a prefabricated membrane structure for its expediency and economy. We've had several rounds of community meetings. We received very positive feedback for the design, and also the community welcomes this type of facility coming to the Reseda area. So with that, I would like to introduce the other team members, and give me a second here. So I'm joined today. Well, before that, I'd like to say a few things about the permit. So it is crucial the city secures the permit and starts construction by summer of 2021 in order to meet our very aggressive project schedule. So as I mentioned, I'm joined today by other team members, which include the council member Bob Blumenfield's office, the Los Angeles Kings, and the project designer Brooks Scarpa. So first, I would like to introduce the Deputy Chief of Staff, John Popovich, from the council office, Bob Blumenfield. John, can you say a few words about the project?
Sure. Excuse me. Thank you, David. And it's great to see you, Commissioner Scrofano, Gallardo, Jefferson, and Vincent. And of course, to see Danielle, Brazel, too. And I really thank you for the time that you're giving us today. Appreciate all the volunteer work that you do to make this city look better and be something we can be proud of from a cultural affairs perspective and a historical perspective, and as we look forward. And briefly, I just want to say that the history of this, although David mentioned we're on a quick timeline, this history goes way back. Unfortunately, the Prop K funding was allocated for this in the 90s, before I think any of us were in the roles we're in now. And when Councilmember Blumenfield came in office in 2013, he really wanted to take this to the next step. Unfortunately, the money that was out there only allowed to either possibly build a building or find a location, but not acquire a location, but not to do both. And so through a lot of his efforts, where he met with Luke Robitaille, the president of the Los Angeles Kings, a number of years ago already, to say, you know, how can we partner with you to bring hockey back to this area? Because we had a very, very successful hockey facility in the North Valley all through the 90s, and Brad Berman of ASEC, with Partners AAG, will speak to that in a moment, but it was very successful, and Luke Robitaille ran it. And unfortunately, they lost the rent on the place. They couldn't compete with it. So there's been this demand for people, from people to skate there again. And when we had this opportunity, we said, well, let's partner with the Kings. And there's this been dilapidated area in the CRA zones that we have not been able to have enough money to build something. And this was finally the location where we could partner up and do something. And the uniqueness of this being the first ever city-owned hockey rink, let alone NHL regulation, and large enough for figure skating, for those who want to pursue figure skating, is a great opportunity, where right now people have to go to the South Bay or Simi Valley or smaller versions. A couple more things I want to say was that we were fortunate in the architects, and I know Commissioner Scrofano, you can appreciate as an architect yourself, getting world-renowned architects like Brooks and Scarpa to come on board. I'm excited. I'm also saddened too, because as David said, we have such limited funds that we can't allow Larry and his team to do the design that we probably could really get if we had more funding. But something Larry always said to me that I loved was that he still gets involved with city projects because he thinks our public, building should look really nice, and that'd be something left for the future that are wonderful. So that being said, it's been a collaborative effort between Brooks and Scarpa, the Kings, BOE, and Deborah Weintraub, another architect, and our office. Councilmember Blumenfield has made this a linchpin of his district. He thinks the people of Reseda deserve it. They've been very much a neglected population at times. Parts of Reseda, as you probably know, could compete with anywhere in the city in the poverty index, but they get kind of lumped into other areas that don't show that. And so something he worked out with the Kings for a project like this is to allow some leveraging for scholarships and for free opportunities for kids who don't have the opportunity to play in a sport that demands a little bit more money to play. So guys my age are going to play in the middle of the night so that the kids can play during the day for a lot less. And then lastly with that, I just want to say, I think we owe it to this community. They deserve it. And I think that this could be a really wonderful opportunity for kids, as I talked to Mike Scholl, General Manager Rec and Parks, to be able to participate in something that we don't normally have. So where does it come to Cultural Affairs Commission? I think a really cool design that we're excited about that you'll see that Brooks and Scarpa will present, that we worked on with Kings and BOE. And I hope that you'll like it, because at least we can make a hockey rink not just look like a hockey rink, but look like something that is a really cool facade and something to be proud of as you enter it. And with that, I just want to thank you all again for the time. I know that Elizabeth on my staff I wanted her to say a few words because she grew up in the area and she has a personal perspective too, as our planning director, professionally too. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Second, I would like to introduce the president of American Sports Entertainment Company, Brad Berman.
Thank you, David. Thank you, commissioners. I look forward to, after 5 years, having the shovels in the ground soon, hopefully. Very excited to be a part of this project. The Kings and our company made a commitment, a financial commitment, to help it get to fruition. And that's how much we believe in it. We're ready and willing and are going to be writing a check alongside with the city to make this happen. As John mentioned, we did have a very successful ice rink in North Hills at Roscoe and Balboa for many years in the 90s. To date, that was still I've had 33 of these facilities across the country. To date, that one facility back in the 90s was my most successful. So from a point of view of being afraid of this not being successful, I don't have any fear of that at all. This is going to be great for the community. It's going to serve kids that want to go public skating, have birthday parties, hockey players, figure skaters, the whole bit. So we're all very excited on behalf of our company and the LA Kings, and I'll hand it back to David now.
All right, thank you, Brad. Lastly, I'd like to introduce Ottabridge Stravides, who is the project manager from the office of Bruce Scarpa Architects, to introduce the project. Ella?
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. As David said, on behalf of Brooks Scarpa, I'm going to be presenting the project. My name is Elif. Danielle, I was very happy to see that engine company is still under your radar back here, and we're looking forward to moving forward with that project as well. We are committed and excited always to building for the city of LA. I know time is of the essence here, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Can you all see my screen, the presentation? Okay. So, as David said, the project is going to be providing a new ice hockey, ice skating building and a roller skate outdoor park at 18-10 Sherman Way in Reseda, California. The two lots that already David pointed out, they are unconnected. They are unconnected and separated by a 20-foot wide alley. The context is mostly commercial along Sherman Way, and we have residential use on the south of our lots. The two lots are under the authority of the Department of Recreation and Park City of Los Angeles. Currently, both lots are empty. The north lot, where the outdoor roller park will be, is unpaved, and the south lot, where the ice rink building will be, is paved. The only existing adjacent lots are currently empty, except for the one on the west of the north lot, which is the Magnolia High School. So the project, in a nutshell, is the outdoor roller rink park on the front lot, north lot, and a hybrid building, a hybrid of a membrane structure and a CMU enclosure on the south lot. The north lot, apart from its use as a roller park, it will also act as the foyer to the ice rink arena, as visitors, the community, pedestrians mostly will be coming in from Sherman Way. There are two gates on the north and the south side of the roller rink that will remain open during the hours of the ice rink's operation hours, welcoming visitors in. So the roller skate park is more of a flexible, open space. There is no building. There is just a planter with some native Californian trees, and a zone of electrical equipment that is enclosed to serve the ice rink building on the back, along with two ADA spaces. On the roller park, we also had to provide the required fire lane and the turnaround for the fire department's access, which becomes part of the roller park. And again, as you can see, some of the things that I've mentioned before with native trees on the LID planter that we have on the east side along the linear bench. Well, people can sit and have some shade over their heads while kids either roller skate on the park or bike around. It's an open, again, flexible space for the community. We use these, again, due to the budget restrictions that David mentioned earlier. We try to keep it simple but sophisticated in order to achieve all the program requirements, and in order to tie these two lots together and make the project one cohesive project. We use those graphic lines on the new asphalt of the roller park, which extend all the way to past the alley to the ice rink entry, and guide the visitors' experience and to enter to the ice rink. I talked about it briefly before. It is a hybrid building. A lightweight membrane structure covers the biggest part of the ice rink with the regulation size ice arena. the offices, storage, the storage, skate shop, and the ice resurfacer room, whereas the conventional building, which is a CMU enclosure, is for the electrical room, public restrooms, the ice room, and the 4 locker rooms, as well as a girls' room and referee room. On the east side, we have the benches for the teams, and due to the membrane structure being non-rated, we had to keep setbacks off the property line on the south and west side. Due to the program we don't have a lot of openings. We cannot allow for sun or any kind of heat intrusion to the ice area. So the main facade and the main openings are all on the north side, on the alley side, let's say, where the visitors will be coming in. The building's main feature is the metal cladded gateway that you see here, this blue portal that encloses and protects the main entry and exit. The frame draws from the typical material palette that the LA Kings team use on all of their facilities, while also playing with both the scale and the depth to create a dynamic portal to the ice ring. On all 3 sides, the membrane structure rests on a concrete curb, and on the 4th side, it sits on the CMU building. From the west and east elevation, you can also see the portal. We are using the rooftop of the CMU building for the mechanical roof equipment that we need to support the program. The building overall is considered a 1-story building with a CMU portion of it. It's about 12 foot to the parapet, whereas the membrane structure that hosts the main ice ring gets to a maximum of 42.5 feet on the top of the ridge. Again, the materials we've used, they are pretty simple, but the membrane, the main material, is widely used for ice rinks throughout the country. And then in addition to that, we've used the CMU walls and the corrugated metal panels, mostly on the north elevation on the alley. On top of that, because the actual building and the program is not on the street, but it's behind the alley, we wanted to make sure that the location and the program was communicated and had a strong presence to the community from the street, from Sherman Way. So to that end, we came up with this graphic treatment of the north fence and gate, a treatment that is seeking to invert the function and the meaning of a fence from just a physical barrier to a place of inclusion. The fence appears to be opaque when approached from an oblique angle, and we use that to note the project's title and have the King's logo so that people can identify the location of the new ice rink facility. But when you actually look straight on, the fence is completely porous so that people can see through. The gateway and the portal on the back of the alley for the ice rink building has a strong presence from the street with its size, depth, and also the graphic color that you can see on this lower front wall as well. All the stakeholders involved in the project, which is the City of LA Department of Recreation and Parks, as well as LA Kings. And I'm sorry, I'm not showing Blumenfield's logo here will be added to, they will be acknowledged. This is the, just wrapping up the presentation. This is the main facade with the main portal and the materials that we saw before with the graphic logo of the Kings painted on the membrane structure, the portal with the corrugated metal, and the storefront doors and windows, so that people can take a sneak peek of what's going on in there, see the activity, have visual connection, even if they do not intend visiting the facility. And on these, and they can even take a sneak peek of the Zamboni machine, which is very unique to the program through the glass overhang door on the right. We also have a small planter right in front of the building with a gave and gravel. And I think that concludes this is the last slide of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm gonna ask my fellow commissioners if they have any questions or comments. Commissioner Jefferson, do you have any questions or comments?
It has the site has a purpose. I heard you all very loud and clear that you don't have enough money. And so you have designed for the site to serve its purpose, which is to be able to put ice in it and skate in it and skate in the park. I don't know. Besides the fact that I'm looking at drawings and I'm not necessarily, if this is the finished product, aesthetically, I probably would want to know more about what it was that we're trying to do for the community. But if the primary thing that the community needs is a place to skate, ice and otherwise, this will serve that purpose. Aesthetically, I think you've probably done what you could do with the money that you have, but if I was being asked to look at it from the point of view of how it brings environment to the community, other than the sort of semi-park space, I would want you to go back, but I'm trying to grapple with what the goal here is. So I don't know what my answer is, because that's not a commentary on you all as architects. It's a commentary on what are we, the city, trying to achieve. This feels like it's a temporary project and not one intended to bring enhancement to the neighborhood. Other than that, it's bringing an activity to the neighborhood that's of great value. And if the Kings are going to have their name all over it, then they should be doing something more that really enhances what this looks like. I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to address that?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to? Thank you. No, I appreciate what you're saying, Commissioner Jefferson, and I think you touched on some important issues. We don't have the money. That's why it's been sitting around since the 90s. And if it weren't for the Kings, this still wouldn't be built. It's unfortunate the way it is. It was voted for many years ago. And so again, we got world-class architects and we've got a world-class operator. We still are going to own it, but the Kings have really made some concessions to help us get to meet the budget. where certain things they're going to provide inside the facility that the city couldn't pull off. And our general manager, who I respect very much at Rec and Park, said, look, I don't know how to operate a rink. I don't know how to deal with this. But people voted for this. And so you're right. I mean, if, like I was saying in my comments, if we had unlimited funds to let Brooks and Scarpa do what they do best, you'd probably be seeing something different. But as you also mentioned, that roller facility at the beginning, that's kind of why they came up with the discussion between all the entities was, let's try and do something that is more inviting, a gathering place. We've done the 1111 Arts Collective there. Trisha Robbins, our economic development on our staff, and Danielle Brazel have worked together on that. Right on Sherman Way, our great street. And I could see that area in the front turning into that place to be able to do that kind of activity. But was this really originally supposed to be a hockey rink? Yes, we're just trying to add some sort of flair of design to it. But it's supposed to just, the money and what was voted for was a hockey and roller rink. And Bob, Councilor Bloomfield's trying to kind of do what we can, of course, with our partners at BOE, to make it look not just like a hockey rink, as best we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vincent, do you have any comments?
No, I am in that area, and I used to actually play broom ball in a rink that was not far from there, and I look forward to the community receiving the facility.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Gallardo, do you have any comments or questions?
I have a question. First, functionally, I'm excited. Aesthetically, I get it. But the question I had was, is this a city project? In other words, will there be a requirement for a public art element as part of this project? Does the staff know? Does DCP staff know?
Yes, if I could speak for that. Oh. Yes, so there will be a public art component as any other city project. So the next step is we will be reaching out to the Department of Cultural Affairs and then just to begin the public art process. So that is in the works. This project is not exceptional to that.
Right, and just because I know as a commission, we're always encouraging that the design takes into account the public art, not as an afterthought, but as an integral part. And I think that would really support a better aesthetic that the budget is limiting, realistically limiting on right now. So with that, I'm excited for the project. The area definitely needs something like this. So glad to see it finally happening.
Thank you.
And I just want to make one comment as an architect, because, every project has a budget. And I mean, I think Brooks Scarpa, with this budget and the moves, I think it's a very successful project. You have created a park in front of the building. So you've created sort of a lower scale green space, and the roller skating park is fun with the different designs. I mean, I think with the budget you have, it's going to be successful and it's going to be used. And, the implementation of the tall wall and the walls running along the side, the CMU painted walls. I mean, you did your best on what you could do, and I think it's successful, and it's going to be a great addition to the city. So those are my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And so do I have a motion to?
Just a clarifying question that's related to the motion. Are we allowed to vote final if without the public art conversation? We are, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Can we get help from the staff?
That is correct. Yes, that is correct. But you did ask an important question. And so we look forward to working with BOE to ensure that the public art obligation is met and integrated as best as possible with the construction project. And our public art team is here So that is also noted. We appreciate the question.
Great. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so can I just add this one little thought, which is that, that to the extent it's possible that as the public art element starts to become part of the discussion, that the focus of it be for the exterior of the rink, so that all the effort that's gone into creating the park that's in front of the rink also sort of adds an additional sense of welcoming to the rest of it, as opposed to causing it to be looked at as if it were a temporary Butler building. And that's my concern. I really do understand the constraint, and the exciting part is being able to bring something into a community that otherwise doesn't have it. So whatever we got to make it out of, let's make it happen. But if the art component could be towards the exterior, that would be great.
That's noted. Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson.
Thank you. Understood. Thank you.
So I will move for conceptual and final approval of the Resida roller rink and ice skating facility.
Do I have a second?
I second it. This is Robert Vincent.
Thank you, Commissioner Vincent. So I will take a roll call. Commissioner Jefferson, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Wait, I have to state it, so for the record. So this is for Resida roller rink and ice skating facility for approval for conceptual and final. How do you vote, Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So item has been approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Danielle, I wanted to ask you about the order of the remaining items. Do we want to take the public art project as the next item? And then, is that?
Forgive me, I'm muted. You can absolutely bring those items up
I
as
see
you wish.
Abdul Jamal raising his hand.
He's like, don't do that to me.
Yeah, the 8 items I have, the 3 of those 8 items were already decided back in January 28th, but they're retroactively canceled, and the rest are just pretty quick.
So why don't we run through the AGFs quickly, get those through, and then we'll hit public art, because I think that'll get, and if we have him present across the board, and I don't think you have to go through the ones that have already been presented. You could hit those. And then the other 5, if we could do that quickly, then I think we should have enough time to get through the rest of our agenda today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same pole design, just different location, and already organized them in an efficient way. I'm just wondering, are you guys going to approve the retroactively canceled sites?
Why were they retroactively canceled? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, on the January 28th meeting, you guys already provided determinations for items D, E, and F, but that meeting, January 28th, was retroactively canceled.
Yeah, we had to cancel it because of some issues around the links to the meeting. So and he didn't get agendized last meeting. So these items were omitted from last month's meeting. So he's been trying to get these through for a couple months.
So that makes it, now I get it. That's going to make this go quick then.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you need a motion for us to approve the items that we previously approved when the meeting had to be rescheduled.
Yes, so items D and F were approved. and items E was denied because this is the integrated pole that was in a residential neighborhood that was denied. That's item E.
Well, Abdu, why don't you just present them all right now to us, right?
Okay, I'll do that.
Do it. Let's do it quickly if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated.
Will do. I believe I sent you guys my the presentation PDFs. I believe the staff architect has them. If you can put them up to the main screen. Okay.
Okay, is it the Verizon one that we're pulling up?
Yes, the Verizon one. And it's the one that is labeled NB7 Verizon AGF items D through F. Do you see that? Okay. So so item D, this is located east of 13,000 West Washington Boulevard on South Alba Road. This is in the industrial area. You guys, approved this back in January 28th. It's an integrated pole with the meter pedestal, and it's not in front of a house or anything like that. It's in an industrial commercial zone area. Any questions on this item before I move on?
This item D?
Yes, item D.
Okay, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Do you want us to move now or do them in a group? Because otherwise I'd put a motion to approve this particular one.
Do you want to do them it might be faster to do them all in one group, or is that fine?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll look at all of them and then.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Have you scrolled down to the next photo sim for items E? You just gotta keep going. Yeah, keep going to the next site. Right there. Yeah. Go back just a bit. Just keep going back to the photo sim of item E. This one right here. Yeah. Now, this one is located on north of 7359 Oak Park Avenue on Valerio Street. On the January 28th meeting, you guys denied the site because the integrated pole design does not fit with the aesthetics of the neighborhood. And you guys told me to come back with a different pole design.
So is this a different pole design than what you presented to us?
Oh no, this is the same pole design. I just need something on the record because the other denial wasn't on the record. You know what I'm trying to say? Item E
yes.
was
okay. So it might be easier if we do them one by one. So I'm going to change.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was suggesting it, because
Yeah.
I do remember what we said.
Yep.
So
Thank you, Commissioner.
while this one's sitting up here, can I make a motion that we not approve this item E because we need them to go back and try and figure out a pole design that's more befitting of the neighborhood?
I second that motion.
Okay. Do we vote on that right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog. Yes.
Okay, why don't we just go back to the first one, quickly vote on that, and then we'll go to the second item. I think it's easier.
Okay, no
So
problem.
present the first one too. Thank you for your patience, Abdul.
Yeah, so the item D, this is the one that I presented before this site. This is located on 1000 West Washington Boulevard on South Alba Road. It's not the site that is shown right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is the previous
Yeah.
site.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve?
Is this
Well, you
item
already
E?
have, I'm sorry, wait. I already put a motion on the table not to approve item E.
I know, but we're going back to D now. We're
But
going,
since- But then you're gonna have to get D up on the screen. I mean,
Yes. Yeah,
so if we vote on this
you're
one
correct.
right now, it'll be over with, and then we'll be back to D and F, and we can say yes to D and F.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. We can
I remember
vote on
this
D and
very
F
clearly.
together.
okay,
So we're voting on item E now, which is this site, the residential neighborhood one.
And Commissioner Jefferson had put forth the motion. I seconded that motion. So I think we just need a roll.
A roll call to reject this design.
okay.
Mhm.
So, so the roll call, Commissioner Jefferson, how do you vote?
Yes, reject it.
Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes to reject.
Commissioner Vincent, I think he might be muted. I vote,
Yes, this is Commissioner Vincent. I vote yes to reject.
okay, great. So item E is rejected. Now please go on to item F.
Yes. So go on to the next photo simulation.
Yes,
Keep going all the way down.
yes,
I'll let you know when to stop scrolling. There you go. You can stop right there. So this one is located downtown LA. This one is in front of 1111 South Grand Avenue, and it's an integrated pole. Last on the January 28th meeting, you guys approved this design. Any questions on this, or we can just go ahead and just reapprove it?
do I have a motion to approve?
Can I give you a motion to approve D and F?
Okay.
And I second that motion.
Thank you. I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So D and F
Thank-
are approved. Okay.
Thank,
Now we're on to
thank
G.
you, commissioners. You can close this PDF attachment, staff architect, and open up the other one that's titled items G through K. And this one, it's pretty quick. The last two, well, I'll get to the last two. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys' feelings and answers on the last two. But the first three items, I'll present items G, H, and I all together because they're not located in a residential home or any residential areas. So right now I'm presenting item G. This is located on 311 North Fremont Avenue. This is the integrated pole, same pole design as I presented before. And it's between two parking garages. You know, like I said, we don't have any choices to co-locate on any available streetlights or utility poles. Do you guys have any questions on this site before I move on?
Nope, you can move on to the next one.
Okay. Staff architect, if you can just scroll down to the next. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, right here. Now this one is item H. This is it's northeast of 1351 Academy Road on Stadium Way, so near Dodger Stadium. It's on that long road where it's just surrounded by landscape on both sides of the road. No, it's not in front of a residential home or anything like that. It's just in a landscape area. The same pole design, meter along with a meter pedestal. Do you guys have any questions on this site?
No questions.
Okay, good. The step architect, if you can scroll down to item I. Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, so this is located in front of an industrial warehouse. This is located on 8714 Rement Avenue. Like I said, it's not in front of a residential home or anything. It's in a commercial industrial zone area. Any questions on this site?
No questions. So or do you have a question, Commissioner Vincent?
No, I don't.
Okay. So can we vote on?
I was going to say, you guys can go ahead and vote on items G, H, and I.
Correct. So do I have a motion to approve items G, H, and I?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll have a roll call. Commissioner Vincent, you vote.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Motion is approved.
Thank you again, commissioners. I have the last two items, and before I present those two items, I just want to, because these are the same problems that were faced with the previous item I show about the one in a residential home. So I know you guys' answer, but I just need your answer on record. That's all.
Okay, let's see them.
Okay. Step architect, if you can scroll down. Yeah, just keep going down to the next. Yeah, right here. Scroll down just one more time, and yeah, right here should be good. Thank you. So this is item J. It's in front of 7807 Andesol Avenue. It's an integrated pole with a meter pedestal. As you guys can see, it's in front of a residential home. I know you guys have questions and disagreements about this area, but do you guys want to talk about it now, or should I go to the next similar site and then we can just knock those two out at the same time?
Why don't you go to the?
Okay, yeah, the next site. Okay, Step Architect, can you scroll all the way down? Okay, right here should be good. Thank you, Step Architect. So this is item K. This is front of 8021 Jellicoe Avenue. This is a residential area. As you can see, there's no vertical infrastructure for this integrated pole to blend in with. And it has the same problems as the previous item you guys denied. And just for the record, the last two items, the ones that are in residential areas, I understand that Verizon needs to come back with a better design that that fits in with the aesthetics of the neighborhood. So I just want to let you guys know that before you guys go address your concerns about them, those two.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve or not approve? For item number J, and it's J and K, right?
Yeah, J and K.
Fellow commissioners, is there a motion to approve or not approve?
I motion to not approve items J and K.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so I'll roll call. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote to approve items J and K?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Gallardo?
No.
Commissioner Jefferson?
No.
I also vote no. So items J and K are not approved.
Thank you very much, commissioners. I told you it was going to be pretty quick. Thank you guys again. I'll see you guys next month.
Yeah, thank you for your
Can
time.
we just thank you for hearing us when you're going back and forth. We deeply appreciate the fact that we're able to have a conversation about this. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Abdul.
See you guys later.
You're Abdul.
Bye.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
Okay, so the next item is COX communication node pedestal AGF located in San Pedro.
Good afternoon, committee members, and thank you for taking the time to review our AGF project. My name is Jay Caney with Inland Engineering Services, and this will actually be my first time presenting before the committee. I did just want to say that coming from a family of artists myself, this department and their mission really strikes a chord with me personally. So thank you for everything that it is you do. I also want to extend my gratitude to Andrew Caston and all the other members who assisted throughout this process. Your help has been greatly appreciated. But moving on to the project itself, would I be able to screen share?
You may proceed.
Okay, I should have it up right now. We are proposing 2 above-ground facilities on behalf of Cox Communications within the city of Los Angeles. The 2 above-ground node pedestals are located on the east side of Barber Street, just north of 36th Street, and will blend with the existing landscape in a natural green tint near existing AGFs such as telephone poles and power supplies, which are present throughout the neighborhood. As this is a residential neighborhood, I have heard from previous committee meetings that there had been conversations around notification to local residents and community input. Per the BOE AGF application process, upon approval from the Cultural Affairs Commission, we will be sending out registered mail notifications informing the local residents of the project and giving them time to voice any potential feedback. And if I scroll down right here, you should be able to see our renderings of the project here. Do you have any questions or comments about it?
So your project is the boxes, the green boxes on the left side?
On the right side, yes.
I mean,
Right
I'm
here
sorry,
and here.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. On the right side, it's not a pole, it's the pedestal.
No, that is correct. It is just the pedestals.
And can I ask our legal counsel a question? So he's citing that what he's citing to us is the way it works is that it's supposed to come to us for approval first before they ask the neighborhood if they like it.
Right. Right, and then it goes to the Board of Public Works. Was that the question?
Yeah, no, that was, I just want to make sure I understood it correct.
Okay.
It doesn't feel logical, but I get it.
I'm sorry, I have a question. How accurate is the color rendering that you're presenting here?
These are actually photos taken directly of existing pedestals of the same manufacturer. So to answer your question directly, they would be photorealistic colors.
I'm a little confused. So you're presenting to us an above ground facility, an AGF that is going to be painted a light green?
That is correct, yes. Hi, Andrew.
And is that because all of the Cox node pedestals are painted that color?
That is correct, yes.
Regardless of what the surrounding neighborhood is that they're putting it in?
Yes, that is the standard color of the Cox node pedestals.
I'm not having a problem with the design of the pedestal or the placement of it. I'm probably having a little bit of a problem with the color of it because it feels like if it was a little closer to some other shade of green, it would just feel a little more natural.
Okay. And to my knowledge, the color can be changed for the pedestals themselves. They can be painted. And one of my colleagues from Cox Communications, Eddie Serrano, should be able to follow up with that with you. I believe he is still on the call. I'm not sure if he's still on the guest list, but
yes, Jake, I am. Thank you. I don't know if anyone can see me, but I hope my video is coming through clear. So we do have a different option as far as color. These can also be painted to a color of choice, any color really that you wanted to paint it. I've seen properties do them. For example, the city of Irvine, we have two different regular colors. We have a light green like this, and I also can share, if I can actually screen share, I can show you a dark green pedestal that we do have on hand now. But these can actually be technically painted any color, that would blend in with the current infrastructure. But we do have two colors, a light green, and we also have a dark green that we do have available. And I can show a picture of a dark green one just from an aesthetics perspective, and also answer any other questions as to reasonings why we need to put an underground structure, or any other questions that the commission might have for Cox Communications and myself, along with the assistance of IES.
Just whatever the color that you have, if we can just that, please.
Yes. Let me know if I can screen share, or let's see here.
You may proceed.
And while you're working to screen share it, the thought that was crossing my mind was, since I don't, assuming we approve this because we're not having problems with the size of the box and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got to go back to the neighborhood anyway. There's a part of me that wants to give the neighborhood a chance to get the color they want it to be.
Okay. Well, I will show with the screen share, I'll show the other color that we have available. And then anything other than that would have to be something that we could paint, with normal, regular paint for the neighborhood and stuff like that, to make it aesthetically pleasing for the neighborhood. But I will show you a standard colors that we have, along with the light green. I'm going to show you the dark one now. If
Mr. Serrano, if you could do this quickly, because
I'm sharing the screen now. Can you actually see what I'm sharing here?
No.
You might want to stop share and then reshare while having it up. There you go. Oh yeah.
And we see it here. This is another color that is a secondary option as far as color goes. That's more aesthetically pleasing to greenery and that type of thing. So this is another option.
Thank you.
I want to propose, do we continue this item for the next meeting, since you've basically given us a presentation drawing with a completely different color than this one?
You can make a motion that you want this second color if you like this color. You could approve it based upon on the condition that you're approving this particular second color if you like it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this color?
I would move to approve this color and say that, saying that I don't have a problem with the design of this particular box, and actually appreciate how much it's so low to the ground.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so I'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And I also vote yes, that we're approving this color of this box for item M, AT&T AGF.
This would be the Cox Communications project.
Oh, sorry. Oh, for the Cox Communication Node pedestal. Okay, the item's been approved.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. So we we need to move on quickly. So the next presenter for the AT&T AGF.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy Siegel, Its location is 2857 North Sepulveda Boulevard.
Do we have them here?
Is he, okay. Mr. Siegel, are you here? Okay, we're gonna go on to the next item then, the Public Arts Project. This is an action item. So the first item is Animal Conservation Tile Mural at North Central Animal Shelter, location 3201 Lacey Street, Los Angeles. The artist is Pascaline, oh boy, Ducien Dulkey. I hope I said that correctly. The project amount is $50,000. The funding source is Public Works Improvement Arts Program. The owner is the City of LA, Department of Animal Services. It's located in Council District 1. The staff contact is Yami Duarte, and the history is a Public Art Committee. There is none, and the recommendation is conceptual and final approval. So I think, Yami, you're going to present correctly, correct?
Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I'm going to share my screen. I'll just wait to be made a co-host. All right. All right, can you all see this image? Great. All right, thank you, Commission. I'm also joined by the artist, Pascaline. Can you hear us? Might take her a minute to load.
Yami, we got it. We got the screen. Thank you.
Okay, great. And you can hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you great. We're so excited about this project.
Yeah, me too. Pascaline is here. She might take a minute to introduce herself and pronounce her name for all of us. So this
let's do it. Let's have.
Is she?
Fine.
Pascaline, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Pascaline Dusendork, and I'm honored that you're presenting this project.
Thank you. So, the council member Gil Cedillo and DCA is seeking to commission Pascaline's artwork titled Animal Conversation. It's an original permanent exterior tile mural on the front-facing facade of the animal shelter located in Lincoln Heights. The animal shelter is right next to the Cypress Park and Arroyo Seco. They just finished renovations early this year. And the project is funded by the Percent for Art program as part of the animal shelter renovation. In 2020, DCA released a request for qualifications for pre-qualified artists for the city's murals program. It was very successful in that we received 200 applications, 120 artists were selected. 4 muralists were selected from that pool of artists to propose for this project. So thematically, the design should address domestic animals, wildlife, our neighbors, and environment. So due to the COVID-19 issue, all of us having to do virtual meetings, in order to, reach out to the community as much as possible to receive feedback, we sort of redesigned our panel selection and community input phases. So what we did was we introduced all 4 designs by each artist that we're proposing for this project to the public. And so the community was then able to get feedback. And so the artists with that feedback were able to revise their designs if they'd like, and also revise their community engagement strategy. So the strategy that the artist would have once in the creation of the mural and any other programming that they would like to do. So in this case, Pascaline proposed some work with the local community in engaging the elementary schools, hosting a Zoom art class, organizing an art show with students about their favorite pet, and display their artwork in the shelter. So Pascaline did include some feedback from that community meeting in her design. The panel shortly after with Bureau of Engineering, Animal Services, art conservators, and muralists to interview the artists. And so Pascaline was awarded the project based response to the panelists' questions and the soundness of the logistics in her proposal. So one of the requirements for this mural project was that it be made of building materials. So this will be a ceramic tile, 286 square feet. You can kind of see by this design the grout lines. So that would be the size of the tile. And so she will be just installing, well, she will hire some installers to the mortar directly on the wall and the tile onto the cement wall. The wall is casted concrete. And also she will be subcontracting with a company who prints this artwork on tile. So, you know, that will be the artist's responsibility to coordinate their digital design to sort of the way this artwork will be printed. So as far as maintenance, it should be able to be cleaned with paint thinner if it was tagged. There was a concern by the animal shelter that this wall has been tagged often. So this is why we went with you know, hard-bodied materials. And so pros, the mural is a permanent beautification of the newly renovated building, which will create a welcoming atmosphere to guests and staff. We don't see any cons. So if you could, I'll show you in a bigger image. This is the surrounding site. So this is the renovated area, wall as it exists now. These are some industrial buildings across the street. And so yeah, so I'll take a moment now to introduce Pascaline and that she can just talk a bit about her concept and a little bit about, you know, your background as an artist and the community engagement.
And
So,
you can keep your presentation to
okay.
less than 5 minutes would be great because we have a hard stop at 5. So.
Got it.
Yes. So what I did is I went to visit animal shelters in Los Angeles that were recommended to me. And then I took pictures of a different variety of animals because I thought it was important for the public to understand what type of animals they could adopt and to see them in a natural environment, like in a free spirit mood. And the idea of conversing between each other is to add some joyful atmosphere to the street too. So people would be attracted to the mural, they would take some pictures and it would bring more attention to come to the building and discover more animals to adopt. My background is in architecture too and art. I do more and more public art projects. Right now I have an installation in Glendale at the Adam Mini Square Park. I'm looking, I have also a large mural at the Glendale Community College, which has been made digitally also. I've had, for several years, street banners in Chinatown in 2007, 2008, and 2019 and 2020. And I'm very involved with Little Ethiopia too, with a great street project. So I really love to beautify neighborhoods and to contribute as much as I can with my expertise as an artist, and also to respond to different community, different cultures, and to integrate everything. So I can look and study the street. I was trying to integrate some existing vegetation of the building. It's a very contemporary, very minimalist building too, and I was trying to do an artwork that would match the architecture and the environment. So it's like a window going into the building. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Yami, and thank you, Pascaline. Do my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions? Commissioner Jefferson, do you have any comments or questions?
Looks like it'll be a great add to telling you what the building's about. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Gallardo?
I love it. I love it. I love the unusual animal friend themes, which I'm a big fan of that. What a wonderful job, and I can't wait to drive by it because I live just north of that community. So wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Vincent, do you have any comments or questions? Did he say no? I didn't hear.
Star 6 to unmute, Commissioner.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I apologize. You've been somewhat witness to me going through a dental procedure as I've been on the phone with you. So nobody can accuse me of not being able to multitask. No, I think it's a fantastic project, and I look forward to supporting it. I have one question for the chair. Is this the last action item?
No, actually, there's 3 more.
Okay.
And we have a hard stop at 5. So
yeah, I may have to leave before that actually.
Okay, we have projects that have to get approved today in order to stay on timeline. So let's see if we can get them through specifically the next 3 projects. Let's see if we can move them quickly.
Yep.
Not because we don't adore them, and this work is extraordinary. So thank you.
Yes. And it's the delight of the day, I have to say. I love it.
So I'm Commissioner Scarfano. I'd like to move for conceptual and final approval of the animal conversation tile mural at North Central Animal Shelter.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And then I, Commissioner Scarfano, yes, it's approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. The next project is Champions of Adversity mural project at Spring Street Bridge. The location is adjacent to LB in Riverside Park. The artist is Sergio Daniel Revelado. Its evaluation is $25,000. It's a public works improvement. The owner is City of LA Public Works, Bureau of Engineering. It's again in CD1. Yami Durarte is going to present, and there's no public art community history, and they are seeking conceptual and final approval. So Yami, if you can keep your presentation quick.
Yes, okay. All right, so this project's very similar. It's in the same council district. It's also our project. It's on the Spring Street Bridge. We just as before, we invited 3 artists from the pre-qualified list. We had a design meeting. This project is a few years old in that it's unusual because we did have an artist selected from a previous panel. However, the artist declined to incorporate local Lincoln Heights imagery, which was a specific request from the community meeting when it was presented, to not go forward at that point and do the process over again. So in 2020, we went back to a new list that we established for muralists and selected 3 artists who have worked in these themes of social justice, historical type painting and portraiture. So ultimately, Sergio Robledo's design was selected. More specifically, the theme was to address Olympians who are successful in sports, local athletes, historical landmarks specific to Lincoln Heights. And the LA River. So this mural is about 1,000 square feet. If you might want to take a look at the context. So this is the Albion Riverside Park. So right here in this area is where the mural will be. There's a lot of graffiti issues. So we've accounted for that in the budget and set aside a maintenance plan. The city will be taking care of routine maintenance. It will be anti-graffiti coated. The public absolutely unanimously was in favor of this particular mural project during the community meeting. Also, Sergio Robledo should be on the call. Are you there? The artist?
Yes, I'm here.
Sergio's here.
Great. So Sergio, just real quick, if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your concept, that would be great.
Yeah, if we could have the mural up on the screen too, that'd be great. And then there you go. I've been a high school educator and teacher for over 15 years, and outside of that, I've been a fine artist since about 2001, doing various projects. And as you heard, some of the prompts when asked to come up with an idea were civil rights, history of the LA River, local Lincoln Heights landmarks, and Olympians or athletes from the local area preferably. And originally I came up with a design, but we reconsidered the people present in the piece. And the title of the piece is Champions of Adversity. And just to sum it up, I can read the prompt that's there on the screen. But
yeah, if you can do it quickly, we've all reviewed it. It's just we have 2 more projects to get through and they will not.
All right. Well, okay, I'll keep it simple. Champions Adversity is essentially local people that either excelled in sports, or were part of fighting for civil rights. And every single person on this mural has a story of championing adversity, having to overcome discrimination and multiple obstacles in order to achieve what they have in their lifetime. And some are still proactively fighting that for today. So one example is Ruth Vivian Acosta, who was co-authored Title IX, which helps against eliminating sex-based discrimination in education and athletics. And that's a huge deal nationwide. Or for example, Kenny Washington on the right, who was the first African-American player to be signed to the NFL after essentially banned from competing for years. And so those are just some of the stories. I could talk more about it, but other elements celebrated are the Church of Epiphany, which was also a place that housed and sort of supported a lot of Chicano movements and civil rights movements as well, including the United Farm Workers and the publishing of Marasa paper and things like that. And even Gil Cedillo is pushing for making that specific location historic monument within Lincoln Heights as well. So yeah, I'll try to be as quick as I can, but there's more to it, but that's the gist of it.
It's fabulous. Do any of the fellow commissioners have any questions or comments?
I love this project, and I was so glad you showed us the equipment, because it just looks like it just blends so well into everything else that's in the park, etc. Bravo.
Thank you.
I hope there will be didactics with bios of these individuals, because one thing we find is, certainly we want folks to know who these individuals are, and as younger generations come up, it's a tool for teaching. I sort of paused at the title only because I think what's conveyed here are champions of justice, not so much champions of of misfortune, let's say, which when I think of adversity, I think of misfortune or, yeah. So just a suggestion, but I love it. Anytime the community is involved in determining what art goes up in its community, then I love it too. So congratulations.
I love that suggestion of justice. Words that, just one little change could be even more powerful. And just to address the issue of it being didactic or educational, part of the community involvement program is to take youth programs that specialize in video editing and creating visual content. And what I plan on doing is having a video made for each individual. And at the mural site, there'll be a QR code that can be scanned, and you can actually directly go to videos that talk about each individual and their story.
Great idea.
Great.
Great.
Commissioner Vincent, do you have any comments?
No. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think it's a great project. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I also love it. I love the scale of it. I love the colors. I think it's really going to be an amazing addition to the city. So do I have a motion to approve Champions of Adversity mural at Spring Street Bridge?
So
moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. So roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Congratulations. It's a beautiful project.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next project is the Tides murals at Rancho Cienega Recreation Center. And the location is 5001 Obama Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. The artist is Topher Chin. The owner is City of LA. It's in Council District 10. And the staff contact is Martisa Stork. And this is for conceptual and final approval. Martika. Thank you, Martika.
Hi,
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Oh, hi. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm happy to present this. Something with it. Happy to present this project today by artist Topher Chin. I don't know. I think I'm having some issue with the. Okay, 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, you have feedback. If you have
Yes,
two
I have
devices,
feedback.
if you have two devices going, you have to mute one.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Martika, mute your desktop.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yes, I'm happy to present this project by Topher Chin. The art project budget is $107,300 and the funding originated from the PWIAP Proposition K. Topher was selected through a RFP process. In September 2016, DCA released a request for qualification for artists for the new Rancho Cienega Sport Complex. We received 16 applications. DCA assembled a public art panel that selected 4 artists and invited them to develop proposals. On December 2016, the panel awarded Topher Chin with a public art commission. The design includes 2 exterior acrylic murals facing each other. Also, the project includes a local artist mentorship component, and of course, Topher is going to give more information about the concept. The conceptual proposal was presented in a virtual community meeting held last February. The design was approved and supported by the community, the park director, and the board members, and also is supported by the Council District 10. The murals are located on the 2nd floor, and anti-graffiti coating is not necessary, but the local art mentorship mural will be coated with anti-graffiti coating. Pros: the proposed public art project demonstrates conceptual and aesthetic quality. Cons: none. Our recommendation is for conceptual and final approval. And now I want to introduce Topher. He will give more information about the project. Thank you. Topher, please.
Hi, everyone. So first, I just want to thank you so much for having me here today to present my proposal for the Rancho Cienega Sports Complex. I was awarded this project in 2016, and I've been conceptualizing it and planning it ever since. So now, let me see here. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Excuse me, Topher, I'm so sorry. We just had another commissioner join, and I just would like the record to reflect that Commission President Werfs has joined And that also means that we may lose Vincent, but while we have everybody, I wanted just to make sure that the record reflected that we have a new commissioner present, and we'll pass it back to you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
My apologies, Mr. Chin. Sorry for.
No, don't worry about it at all. I'm just trying to figure this out real quick here. Share. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So just a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in LA, and I'm a second-generation Chinese American, and I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and I've lived in many different neighborhoods in Los Angeles, from Hollywood to East LA. And my work consists of paintings, sculpture, and large-scale public mural and sculptural installations that challenge perspective through conventional concepts of form, color, and scale. I encourage my viewers to further their understanding of their physical surroundings by reflecting on one's internal architecture of thoughts and perceptions. I've exhibited my work in solo and group exhibitions nationally and internationally, and I've produced public art commissions nationally and overseas in Brazil, Nicaragua, and Japan. And I'm a recipient of the California Community Foundation 2019 Fellowship for Visual Artists, and I received my BFA from Otis College of Art and Design. Now, real quick, before I get to the actual proposal for Rancho Cienega, I just want to show you two recent public commissions. This one here is my most recent mural that I just completed at LAX Airport. And this was in partnership with DCA and LAWA. And then here is a mural that I did at with LAUSD at Maywood Academy High School. And I just want to mention with this mural, and like what I like to do with these types of projects, when possible, is propose working with the community. And for this mural, I held a community workshop with the kids that were involved with the arts program at the school, and they actually helped paint this mural. So now on to the mural installation proposal. So I'm just going to read this because I'm not sure if you guys can read it.
Hi, could we ask that you not read that, because we're the last mural project and we're going to be kicked off. I mean, you got 10 minutes and then a hard stop.
Then let me just go through this real quick. I know you guys have been on this for a while. So hold on one sec here. All right. So the location for my installation is unique in that it's going to sit above ground between two buildings that are going to house the new aquatic center and the rec center at the park. And throughout the 4 years of working on this project, through site visits, conversations, and research, I've come to realize how important the park is to the community. With my work, I am inspired by the landscape of the city, the view of the mountain ranges, the light and the shadows shifting throughout the day, and the bright blue sky that illuminates Los Angeles, as well as the architecture that's presented to me, with all of the characteristics, challenges, limitations, and obstructions that come with it. And here's another view of the west elevation here that houses the aquatic center. Now, through using bold shapes, forms, and colors that are in a pattern, as well as playing off the natural light throughout the day, I want my viewer to experience his or her own perception to change as they face the piece from different positions or at different times of the day. I want this piece to evoke the sense of change and movement, mirroring who and what we are. And this is going to be the building that is facing that building that I just showed you here. This is going to house the rec center. And my aim with these two murals that face each other is that when you walk between the two buildings, you will feel and amplify the movement inherent throughout the park without sensing any obstruction of the landscape around you, and to create a work that is vibrant and spacious, addressing the landscape, the architecture, the movement, and the energy of the sports complex and the neighborhood. And then here is just another view of that east elevation. And now on to the local artist mentorship. So as a part of my project, I propose an initiative where I mentor a local artist and give them the opportunity to create a mural at the sports complex. And as I mentioned earlier, when I'm going to do a public project, the first thing I want to acknowledge is the community. So for me in this specific situation, it's really important for me to highlight and to give voice to that talent that lives in the community. So this is how I came up with mentoring an up and coming artist, giving them a public platform to share their work. And then being that I'm not from the neighborhood, I partnered up with my longtime friend, Daniel DeSur. Daniel lives and works in the neighborhood. He runs Commonwealth Projects, a creative studio with a long-standing commitment to Los Angeles. He's also a part of the Underground Museum and has become a supporter, educator, and mentor to many of the neighborhood youth. So we went through an extensive process to select the right artist for this mentorship. And I wanted to work with a local artist that isn't necessarily established yet, someone that's dedicated to their craft and who wouldn't necessarily have access to an opportunity like this. And most importantly, an individual that lives in the neighborhood and that uses the sports complex and has families and friends here and a deep-rooted history and connection with Baldwin Village and Crenshaw. So this is how Daniel and I narrowed it down to a young man and extremely talented artist, Preston Summers. So just a little on Preston, he's 24 years old. He grew up in the neighborhood and is just super passionate about his work and was just the right fit for this partnership. Now here is kind of a rendering of what his mural is going to be on the child care center. So again, after visiting the park a handful of times, we selected this location for Preston's mural at the center of the park on the child care center wall. And it's an intersection where so many people travel through every day and will be able to view his work. And also want to mention that Preston has never done a public mural before. And to be able to mentor him on this opportunity means so much to me. So, and what excites me is that Preston will be working with some of the youth from the neighborhood and a select group of students, potentially from Dorsey High, to help him paint and execute this mural. And here's some details on the mural. So this mural is going to incorporate some prominent characters and friends within the neighborhood. Here we have James Gilliam. We have the Williams sisters. This is his friend, and this is Jackie Robinson here. And this is his friend Harry that passed away, and Paul Williams. And then note here on the right, I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not, but Preston has included the intersections of King Boulevard, Barack Obama Boulevard, and Jackie Robinson Stadium. Now here's the entire sketch of Preston's mural, and the colors he will be using within the mural converse with the color palette of my mural installation as well. Now I want to, again, thank everyone for being here and for your time, and I just want to reiterate too what an honor it is to be a part of this project. And the timeline for this project for my murals is going to take about 4 weeks from start to finish. And for the local artist mentorship, it should take about 4 to 5 weeks. And then for the conservation of my murals, normally I would say let's use an anti-graffiti coat, but because of the location of the murals and that they're on the second level, they're not going to be accessible to any vandalism. And the paint that I'm using is a high-grade architectural paint that's has an advanced stain blocking element to it as well. And also too, if it was to get damaged, it's really easily touched up because of the large color blocking. And I just want to make note that the murals will blend with the architecture and the surrounding environment, making it less noticeable for a target of vandalism. And for Preston's mural, we will use an anti-graffiti coating. once the mural is completed. And again, his paint too will be the same high-grade architectural paint that I'm using as well. And for maintenance, there's really no special chemicals or anything that we need to clean it. And for dirt and debris, it's low pressure wash, gentle, like soft brush, cloth.
Mr.
And-
Chair, yeah.
Yes.
If you could wrap it up pretty quickly, because we still.
Oh yeah, and then here's my budget with the 107,300. Everything is allocated here and broken down and within the budget. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for being so patient and waiting so long.
Hope that wasn't too fast. I know you guys have been on this for so long, but.
Thank you, Topher.
Thank you. So do any of my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions?
I'll make a very quick comment. One, my first job was in that swimming pool. I know that location very, very well and lived there and went to Dorsey. And I appreciate your mural, Mr. Chin, because it pays homage to the original architecture of the swimming pool complex, actually. And you're right, and the mountains, and it's a great intersection where it meets. I'm really excited about that. I think it's great you gave a young person a mentor. I'm not so sure I'm as thrilled with the artwork, but I am delighted that it's happening, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Gallardo, do you have any comments or questions?
No, love the mashup. I am confident that being a huge fan of Topher Chin, that he will guide that mentorship with careful hands so that the outcome is both something they can be proud of, and also love the incorporation that you decided to create of bringing in a local young artist into this significant project. So thank you for that. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Great. Commissioner Worth, do you have any comments or questions?
Just 2 comments. I really appreciate your work. Actually, the architectural nature of it just really stood out, so I was very excited to see that and can't wait to see it installed. And I think this is great. It's not often that we get a twofer relates to murals, so a twofer with Topher is excellent. So congratulations, and or a threefer, yeah. So looking forward to see this one.
Yes, I also love it, and congratulations. I think it's going to be very striking. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved from Commissioner Wirfs.
Second. Great. Okay, so I'll have a roll call. Commissioner Gallardo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson.
Dorsey Don says yes.
Commissioner Wirfs.
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So item approved. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Our last at arts activation item is
No, it's the mural.
Public art.
Public art.
Public art mural, the oak tenders, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
With
60.
Paul Pescador and Ari in seating three.
Yes.
Yay! We got through it.
Let's keep rolling.
Yep.
Did I miss something? Has this been? I'm kidding.
We'll explain it later. We'll explain later.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll just get right through it. I don't want to keep anybody here longer than we have to. My name is Adi Gonzalez Renteria. I am the co-director of 1111, a creative collective. We're a San Fernando Valley-based arts organization. And we have partnered with Milo Lewis to create this mural at Councilmember Blumenfield District Office. We actually pursued this mural through an effort with the California Arts Council. It's called the Artists and Communities Grant. And we partnered with Miles because of his experience as an environmental activist and advocate, and because he's also an educator. And we wanted this mural to be more than just, a pretty picture on a wall. We wanted it to be engaging with the community, and we wanted it to have a component of education for environmental stewardship in the community. And this particular project is talking about the native oak trees in the San Fernando Valley. And it's going to be facing the West Valley Regional Branch Library. It's I know the council office and the council member have a long-standing relationship with environmental stewardship. I know we know that the council member worked for the Santa Monica Mountain Conservancy. And so this is like just kind of in line with 1111's efforts to bring education and educate the public about the importance of environmental education. And so we're just really excited to get this. We got the funding for this. And I'm going to hand it over to Miles to talk about the design components of the mural. And I just wanted to really quickly mention that we are so ready for the skating rink in Reseda. And if there's a public component that needs to be done there, 1111 is like ready to go and help with whatever we can on that site. So I'll hand it over to Miles to speak to the mural.
Hi, so my name is Miles Lewis. So I'm an artist in the West San Fernando Valley. I grew up in the foothills of the Santa Monicas, went to CSUN and Pierce. So I'm a lifelong resident of the area and both an environmental educator and art educator. Like with Topher's project, this project has a sort of necessary educational component. There will be kids coming in helping with some of the painting. Part of the reason that it has a bit of a sort of a storybook outlined quality is so that that is easily done. I'll execute the drawing in total, and then the kids come in, they help with mixing paint, they apply it, they learn about how to work on a team to produce a public art project. So the piece itself focuses on Quercus agrifolia, so our native California oak trees, which are a landmark species. They support all other kinds of flora and fauna, and we're also very familiar with them. But that is, Californians typically are very familiar with oak trees, but are not necessarily familiar with all of their sort of associated species and how they exist together environmentally. And so the purpose of this mural is to both create something that highlights the Conservation Corps, which is actually the doorway that you can see here. So it's kind of perfectly placed. LA Conservation Corps has an entrance here. It's great for the kids. It's just a very sort of colorful, a nature-based mural, but it is also a way of emphasizing in a very pointed way the companion species. So most of what you see here are flowering shrubs that grow in association with the oaks. There are a number of reptiles, bird species, insect species, some of which are sort of hidden. So it creates a kind of Where's Waldo effect where you can go in and kind of find these different creatures. And then of course you have people differently interacting with the trees, resting. This girl has a moth in her hand, man planting a tree, person reading. Of course it's by the library, so it kind of gives you a direct line. And some species that are also just very representative of Southern California as sort of mascots. So you've got red-tailed hawks, you've got a cougar, and that's it. So it's completely or as far as the placement, it's completely adapted to the space, which is kind of irregular. You're working around windows. There's both a front element here, which you can see more closely. This would be from the street. So this would be sort of the entry invitation where you can see this pop of color behind the trees. This area is shaded throughout the day. This area here is shaded in a dappled way throughout the day. And that's part of why the image itself is not so much monumental as it is sort of a free-form landscape, so that it picks up lights at different times and gives it kind of a realistic illusion as you move across and around the space at different times. And is there anything else to cover?
I'm going to add two more things to it. There's a very important educational component to this project, and we are partnering with the Theodore Payne Foundation to do 2 educational virtual workshops for youth. So we can talk about the mural, we can talk about the importance of environmental stewardship and the oak trees. And also the partnership with the council office has been really, really important to us. And so we're just really excited to make this happen in our hometown.
I can also point up the matter that just like the Champions of Adversity or Justice mural, there will probably be a plaque or some kind of digital interactive, a didactic, I think was the term you guys used, to explain what these species are Theodore Payne will be represented here too, as sort of, a longstanding advocacy and nursery for native plants in the Valley and Los Angeles generally. So people will know how they can act on these things, how they can incorporate this into their gardens and landscapes, and how they can advocate for preserving our natives.
Wonderful, thank you. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any comments or questions? Commissioner Gallardo?
Just wanting to express how gorgeous the design is and very true to its purpose and subject matter, and also just the good work that 1111, Addie and Miles, I've known them and their work for quite a while, and it's really good to see local artists doing really good projects like this. So
thank you, Commissioner Gallardo.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Jefferson, do you have any comments or questions?
I just love it. I think it's fabulous, and I love the way that it almost makes the mural feel three-dimensional by the way you intentionally made sure that it feels like it's both in and coming out of the landscape. I think it's great. And I love your side projects as well, just like with the other one with the mentoring. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wirfs, do you have any comments, questions?
I did, just one related to the didactic and where it was going to be located.
I think that we really don't have anything concrete on that. I think we're going to speak with Tricia and the office. There might be some rules sort of grounding that. The original thought was that there would be like a post here. So sort of as you're walking up, as you sort of reach this midline, there's a little post that explains what's happening. That might be a visual obstruction. So we're still kind of floating that, whether it will be, it's going to have to be something like that, I guess.
Yeah, I was hoping that it wouldn't be on the wall, because it seems like the pedestrian paths are sort of separated. So it should, the didactic should meet the people in the experience, as opposed to the people having to directly get it, through the planter and the et cetera, et cetera. So food for thought.
Totally. We plan to keep it removed from the wall.
Great. And great proposal. It looks like it's been there the whole time. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And I also want to congratulate you. I think it's fitting, and I think the story about California oaks needs to be told more, because they're an amazing tree. So
I think we have Tricia Robbins with her hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, Commissioner Scrofano, I think Tricia Robbins had a comment.
Thank you very much. I work with Councilmember Blumenfield as I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I didn't see that you had a comment, so.
Oh, that's okay. I work with Councilmember Blumenfield as his Economic Development Director, and I work on a lot of the cultural affairs stuff for our office. We're very pleased to partially fund this mural, and it, as Addie said, it goes right back into Bob's background, the council member's background, pardon me. He worked with the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. His environmentalism has always been, towards the top of his list. In fact, you can see that the area that surrounds where the mural is going to be is painted or planted largely with native species. And so he paid for that because he wanted to show that, you can do drought tolerant plantings, and it can look good and it can fit in. And so it, besides his bringing that conservation corps to the office and dedicating space in the building for them, all of it kind of layers one right on top of the other. And then in terms of the educational aspect with the kids, that's phenomenal. And just on a personal note, I love Coast live oaks, so I'm very glad it's Quercus agrifolius. And so, we fully support it, and we appreciate the time that you're taking to hear this today, especially since it's beyond 5. And with that, I'll stop. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that note, is there a motion to approve oak tenders in 3rd Council District, Reseda office?
So moved.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
A second. So I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Wirfs, how do you vote?
Yes.
Great. Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So the item is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
One more.
One more.
Is it streetlights? That's it?
No,
Item
this is
7.
the Corona Memorials, and our grants team
Yes.
has been waiting so patiently. Ben Espinoza, Rebecca,
Okay.
you'll give us a brief presentation and we'll bring this baby home.
Absolutely. Very good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for your patience in this marathon day and the opportunity to share with the commission a quick update with DCA's long-standing partnership with our community collaborator, Community Partners, who is, of course, our local business nonprofit incubator here in downtown. Longtime partners with our work around the Arts Activation Fund. If commissioners remember, this is because of COVID, ever since last year, we've taken a pause on the street activation projects, pop-ups, and festivals, of course. And if folks remember, last year, we quickly pivoted the program to instead provide direct relief grants to Los Angeles-based artists to help offset lost revenue from canceled concerts, presentations, and shows. So we'd love to present to you now our new adjustment to this program, given that meeting in person is still kind of hard to come by today. We're calling it Corona Memorials, and it's we see it really as a natural iteration of what we've been doing for our local artists with our relief grants last year. We're shifting from relief to recovery with these grants, and we're recognizing that in this trying year that many of our artists across the city have lost loved ones, and we're offering them the opportunity to help memorialize the stories and lives of people that were close and dear to them with what we're calling Corona Memorials. We're offering small grants to these individual artists to research the life of the deceased, someone close to them with permission from the deceased family, to produce some sort of online presentation that we all Angelinos can experience together. And so we started rolling out this grant program a month ago, and we're very pleased to share our initial round of grantees now. It's a program open to all Los Angeles-based artists with at least 3 years of presenting experience to help tell us a story about someone near and dear and important to them in their life and their community. I'd love to pass the mic on to my colleague, Rafa Vaca, who will share a few notes about our first round of grantees, a copy of which is shared with you as well in the attachments and provided in today's agenda.
Good evening, everyone. So we're presenting the initial round of grantees for the Corona Memorials Project. In this list, there are a total of 7 awards granted for a total of $4,500. And through these projects, artists are memorializing loved ones and family members that they have personally lost to the virus, or are working in collaboration with the family of a community member who has passed due to COVID-19. These projects take on a variety of forms, from visual art presentations and installations to musical tributes. And we look forward to sharing these finished projects online for the general public to view and remember these individuals when they're completed.
That's right. Thank you, Rafa. We'll be rolling out this program for the coming months, and we'll plan to update the commission frequently with these rounds of grants. We're working hard to get the word out to all our far-flung communities across the city, parts in South LA in particular, areas of the city where we know this virus has had a disproportionate impact on some of the on various populations. So we really want to make sure our artists who are ready to move on to recovery have some support from the city in doing so. And we plan to collect these tributes as they are posted online on the DCA website, where we can learn more about the folks we've lost and begin this process of healing together as a community.
Beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
would like to just commend our extraordinary team, our grants team, for pivoting, responding. We know that artist is a super city. There are more artists living and working in Los Angeles than any other city in the country, and the support for artists has not really materialized in the way that it has for other aspects of the sector. So these $600 grants really help to keep food on the table, gas in the car, and partial rent. So I really want to just thank you all for this update, and we will be sure to keep the commission posted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wanted to comment, love the shift and the concept. And I imagine because these are virtual, that they might be shared with other organizations during our Dia de los Muertos season to give it even more legs and use our wonderful arts ecosystem to also uplift this project and the artists and their loved ones. So thank you for doing this.
Ditto. I remember reading about that this was going to be happening and thought, what a brilliant idea.
Thank you all for your support.
Yeah. Bravo. I have to jump in like 4 minutes.
We're done. I mean, I think we have street lights. If we want to just get the street lights approved, it's a consent agenda. So you just need to get the motion and pass it.
Okay.
And gavel it.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the presented streetlights?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Okay, can I have a roll call vote? Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Wirfs?
Yes, and for future reference, as it's consent, you can say motion to approve without objection, and then if no one objects, it goes through. But we did it the thorough way, so excellent.
Well, I just want to give a big thank you to Commissioner Scarfano for carrying such a enormous agenda for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Going on like 3 hours sleep. So I'm
personal thank you, Commissioner Scarfano. Personal thank you from me.
It's all good. We're all here for each other. It's no problem.
Ain't that the truth?
So you want to gavel? You want to gavel and close the meeting? Stop the recording?
Excellent. We're all good.
It's adjourned and closed.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And please, Danielle, thank you for trying so hard. If we had started at 2 when we won, we would have made it.